Mars.
Go.
That's what we're gonna do.
We got a lot. We have a lot to talk about, man. There's been so many things going on, bro.
What up, Mars? What's up with you, brother? How you doing this morning or this afternoon? I'm sorry.
Dub, is there something glaring?
I seen a Buck Williams clip about Draymond Green's defense, and you know what? I remember watching him because I remember, when I was watching Clyde and everything, and then he was on the Blazers, and then just seeing, his game, and then I remembered he was on the Nets. I didn't watch too much of the Nets, but then I went to go back and watch it. You know how people say Giannis is running dunk man? Yeah, that's Buck Williams. So I don't understand how Draymond Green is struggling with Buck Williams. I don't get this.
No, he wasn't. In fact, think that Bam is Buck Williams. That's who Buck Williams is.
No.
Yes, 100%.
No.
100%.
Buck Williams is way more athletic than Bam. So they're not close at all.
Yeah, yes, they are. That's Buck Williams except Buck Williams actually dumbed his game down to be more of a dirty work guy and less of a scorer than Bam was. So Buck, when he got to the Trailblazers, before he got to the Trailblazers, when he was with the Nets, he was almost a 20-10 guy with the Nets. They were garbage though. That's the problem. So anybody can score, anybody can, put up those kind of numbers on a bad team. When he gets to the Trailblazers, he now becomes the dirty work guy. He becomes the Udonis Haslem, the Horace Grant of that team, as opposed to when he was with the Nets, where he was almost a 20-10 and an all-star. So if you look at Bam's game is very similar to Buck Williams, only except I actually think Bam is a better athlete than Buck Williams, to be honest with you. I think Bam is a better athlete than Buck. I think Bam is he's a more versatile defender than Buck, but I also think that Buck was an elite defender too. But in terms of offensively, I don't think that they're that far apart. So
yeah, offensively.
Bam.
Yeah, Buck Williams' shot to me just something was never there, especially in the mid-range. I don't think his post game was great. I think he thrived a lot of times, especially on the Nets off of transition, especially for the times where he is scoring the most points, more times than not, his team is like top 3, top 5 in pace in the league. So he was a transition guy for me anytime I watched him. And then even in the 80s, he was barely breaking 20 points a game. So like, how great is your scoring if a majority of it is coming in transition and the post game isn't there, the footwork ain't there like that, the mid range ain't there like that with me. Okay, I don't see how Draymond Green's struggling when he's been guarding guys like Jokic, he's been guarding guys like Embiid, he's been guarding guys like Anthony Davis. He's been guarding all those guys who are far more superior offensive players than Buck Williams and still doing a good thing on him. And then if we talk about, him being in the 80s and being able to hand check and everything, then Draymond Green is he's more of a capable defender because of that. So Buck Williams, man, that ain't it.
Let's rewind up. So we're talking about you brought up guys like guarding guys like Anthony Davis, guarding guys who, by the way, he gets his ass kicked when he goes up against Anthony Davis. So it's not like he's guarding Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis kicks his ass. That's number one. Number two, Buck Williams. You're putting Buck Williams up against Draymond Green. Buck was a dirty work guy because that's what the 4-man was in the 80s. He was the dirty work guy, the Udonis Haslem, the Horace Grant. That's who he was. Even though he did knock down the mid-range, even though he did play good in transition, he wasn't the. I'm thinking about. He wasn't. Who am I thinking about in Philadelphia? He wasn't Joel Embiid in the mid-range. No, he wasn't Karl Malone in the mid-range. No, I won't go that far. But he could.
He wasn't a lot of people in the mid-range.
He could definitely knock down a 17-footer. He was not just getting all of his buckets on putbacks and transition. No, that wasn't his game. They did run stuff.
Fellas, we got to transition right quick though, because I got a super duper chat from David Mujinaya.
Yep.
He don't want to talk about the NBA. He don't want to talk about men's basketball. He said, let's start this off with the ladies. In case you didn't know and you're living under a rock, it was 2 phenomenal games yesterday. Women's college basketball, the Elite Eight. We had some superstars facing off. LSU versus Iowa, Angel Reese and the gang, Flage as well, versus Caitlin Clark. And then we had UConn versus USC.
That wasn't a phenomenal game. That was despicable. That was an embarrassment to basketball. I'm ashamed of Coach Mulkey. I've been a big fan of Coach Mulkey since she was at Baylor, doing her thing in Waco. And for her to come out there and do that?
You ain't the first person to say that, Ox.
That was the worst.
What am I looking at?
Chill, that was the worst display of coaching. That was quite possibly the worst display of coaching I've ever seen in my life.
You think she got out coached yesterday? What happened?
It wasn't even. It wasn't even. No, it wasn't no coaching. Coach supposed to coach. Chilltown.
Correct.
There was none of that. There was none of it. Like, first of all, she didn't even make an adjustment. But my thing is, there shouldn't have been an adjustment to make. How do you just leave Van Lit out there on an island drowning?
With
you know what I'm saying? With Caleb. This is my thing, Chilltown. Look, they played in the Elite Eight last year. Iowa played Louisville, went for 41.
Put 41 on her. So she looking at Van Lit like.
And so in the Elite Eight, Caitlin Clark is giving Haley Van Lit 82 points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, Kim, you know this already, don't you? You know what I'm saying? But Kim, we've seen Haley get cooked multiple times this season. You know, this was already a bad matchup. Like, if you're gonna play this one-on-one style of defense, which I think is a terrible idea against Caitlin anyway, at least put Flagey on her and let her cook Flagey.
Ox, you do know, now that I think about it, that wasn't even one-on-one. It was 2-on-1. Because if the screener's up there screening, not only do you have to account for the person you're guarding, but you have to try to fight over or go under the screen. It was technically 2-on-1 because Angel wasn't even showing on the screen.
But Ron, not only that, but she's backpedaling with her hands right here. She's not even backpedaling. Like, you're not even playing drop with your hands up, protecting a possible entry pass. There's so many different ways you can defend that, and to not do anything was just a bad coaching job by Coach Moki. And it was so egregious, Chilltown. It was so egregious that, and you have all this information already. You know who you're playing against. You already know who's coming in the gym. You know your team's limitations. You know you got a 5'7", 5'8" point guard trying to guard Caitlin Clark, the best shooter in the world right now. And to not, I'm saying you could at least switch the high screen. At the very least, you could switch the high pick. We can rotate. We can protect the basket. Right. We can move. Like, I don't want to do that either, but you could have at least done that. A high hedge, blitz it, trap it, do something. But you just watch that young lady get tortured like that for 35 straight minutes and then finally try to do something with 4 minutes left in the game. If I'm the athletic director or the president of that school, Coach Moki, go ahead and clock out, baby.
If I'm an NCAA, I'm doing an investigation.
Yeah, there has to be some type of investigation on that. That was crazy.
Like B Lamar H sent through a chat, and he said it's like playing Clark on drop is like playing Steph in 2016 on drop coverage. Mars, I don't know if you know who Caitlin Clark is, but it's like essentially just letting Steph just come off wide open and just like, hey, well, we're gonna see how much we're gonna dare you to see how much you can make tonight.
Why isn't Cameron Brink on this poll, Ron?
Which is kind of the plan. So it looked to me like Coach Moki was going to make Caitlin Clark score all the points and try to take away from other people. Only except she didn't. She didn't get back in transition, which is where Caitlin Clark found O'Grady. Because O'Grady was running the floor. I love O'Grady, by the way. She runs the floor like a big man, like a big girl. She was running the floor. The other, I don't know her name, light-skinned chick that plays for Iowa. She's another big girl. She was running the floor. The shooter that she has on the wing, I don't think that she did a good job in taking away the transition game more than anything. I thought Caitlin Clark was going to get whatever she was going to get, whether you play drop coverage, whether you fight around the screen, because Flagey had switched on to her a couple of times, and she went high over the screen. She still was able to get the shot off. I think your logic is, she got to at least work. You got to make her work, as opposed to she was looking at Van Lit like she was lunch. Like, you really got this chick on me one-on-one? This is definitely not going to work. And it didn't. But I think that they took advantage. I think Iowa took advantage more in transition than they did anything. When Angel Reese ended up rolling her ankle, that was a huge problem because now that slowed down their transition game because she wasn't running as much as she was before that. Even though she did have almost 20 and 20, she was definitely on the glass. Definitely. I still think that South Carolina's winning the tournament, though. I don't think nobody beat them.
And so I would ended up beating LSU 94-87. I mean, you guys already know Caitlin Clark went crazy. She had 41, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, a couple steals as well. On the other end, Angel Reese had 17 points, 20 rebounds. Flage had 23, but it just wasn't quite enough. And Iowa really controlled the last 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark's about to put the WNBA on her back, women's basketball on her back. And this is gonna be like the Magic or the MJ of the NBA. And you know, if the WNBA doesn't do everything they can to sponsor this woman and to market their brand, I mean, they're just, you know, just get rid of the league. There's no reason to have it. If you have a woman in Caitlin Clark that's literally having all of us talking about women's basketball, something that hasn't happened in forever. Caitlin Clark's really one of them ones, bro. Like, you had so many people watching that game over the men's NCAA, over the men's NBA basketball games. And I don't remember a time like this besides like when UConn was on their run back in like 2016, I believe. So, but that was a whole entire team. This is just one person, Caitlin Clark, affecting viewership. So Caitlin Clark about to be the GOAT of the WNBA, man, and it's going to be.
It says a lot about. To be honest with you, it says a lot about what women's basketball is, Miles. Because I'm telling you, man, it was tough between Iowa and LSU and the Celtics in Charlotte last night. I was having a hard time, B. I was like, I don't know, but I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with Iowa, and I'm gonna go with LSU. That's what I think. That's which way I think I'm gonna go. I didn't understand, Ox, and I was ready to snatch this damn TV off the wall. It was making me nuts. Why did you keep every time LSU scored, the last minute of the game? Why did the coach from Iowa keep calling timeout? Why are you stopping the clock? What are you doing? We have the lead. We don't want them to get set up. What are you guys doing? They hit a 3. Lead's cut to 7. She calls timeout. I'm like, why are you calling timeout? You're letting them get set up. You're letting them get their defense set up. Now you're giving them an opportunity to get another turnover. The clock is your friend. You want the clock to keep running. The clock isn't their friend. Why did she keep calling timeout? I didn't get it.
I have no idea. That's weird. My only thing, Dub, just to kind of just to touch on what you were just saying, Dub. There's so many people that are kind of caught up in it, and I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, because as you know, I love women's basketball. Specifically, this time of year, it's really exciting women's basketball, and then summertime coming, so WNBA is going to be around. So I'm enjoying this. My only thing is, it's good to see people kind of getting involved. But just being as realistic as I can, it's gonna be sad when the fad is over, when it's not cool anymore, and all the people that don't really care about women's basketball go back to, you know, saying the same stuff they've been saying, it's gonna happen.
But that can change. That can change, right? Because of Caitlin.
I don't think so.
Because
the only reason I say that, Dub, is because a lot of people, even though they've seen this, they're still not going to respect women's basketball at all. They're still not going to respect women the same way they don't respect them already. It's going to be sad to see everybody go back to the old ways, the caveman ways of, what are girls? They can't, you know.
See, this is sad coming from you, Bob. Really, because
I'm just being realistic. You know how people are.
And I can be realistic too. When you see the writing on the wall in the '80s, what was really the king of the sports world? It was the NFL, and then it was the baseball. Baseball, I believe, still was like the king in the American sports world, right? So, and when Magic and boxing too. When Magic and Bird was on their run, there was probably people back then saying, "Oh yeah, it's here now, but it's probably gonna go away later." But then it started a trend, and it started an evolution of popularizing the sport to make it as big as it is right now. You know, so if we seen Caitlin doing what she's doing, and then you got a bunch of other women getting put on notice because of the marketing that she's bringing. Guess what? It's just a domino effect of really starting to popularize this thing. Let's not act as if Serena Williams gets tons of love. It's not like everyone's just like, oh, yeah, we're just going to pay attention to the men's tennis and not Serena Williams, who's literally the GOAT. So Caitlin Clark is doing something phenomenal because it's on her to keep performing like this. And if she keeps performing like this, let's say if she winning a championship level, dropping 40 or 50, bro, people are going to tune into that. And then that's going to put a lot of people on game. When we see Angel Reese is big, people see how good she is, puts people on game of like, oh yeah, this woman balling out too. Let me go check her out. Let me go watch her games. That's all it is, bro.
Yeah. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Dub. It's just that my thing is there's been women that were just as good as this group of women right now. Tons of times.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Sabrina Ionescu was in my opinion, better than Caitlin Clark. So
absolutely. But Ox, when you talk about Sabrina, when you talk about Maya Moore, when you talk about Diana Taurasi, when you talk about these women, as awesome as they were, how much better would the game be if the notoriety was there? Like, this is as popular as women's basketball has been. Like, I don't know who Juju is. But before this, I don't know who Juju is. I don't know who Cameron Brink is. I don't know who these women are. Now I do. Now I'm tuning into women's college basketball. I'm watching the Pac-10. I got the Pac-10 network in my cable package. I have that. So I'm watching Juju. I'm watching Cameron Brink. I don't know who the chick she plays at Colorado. She a baller too. I forgot her name. I think point guard or two guard. She plays at Colorado. These women, because of Caitlin Clark, because of Angel Reese, and because of people before them, and the notoriety that now women's college basketball has been able to attain, this now popularizes the sport and makes these other women make us focus on these other women now. And because it makes us focus on these other women, that's actually not only popularizing women's basketball in college, but also in the pros, because these women are now moving to the pro game, just like it was in college in the 80s. Like, we grew up with Christian Layton. I grew up with Patrick Ewing, and I can't wait to see what Ewing looks like in the pros. I can't wait to see what Jordan looks like in the pros. It's the same logic with women's basketball, because it's becoming more popularized. We get to see these women now move on to the pros and see what kind of players they're going to be. I think this is fantastic for women's college basketball.
And let's not forget.
I hope y'all right. I sure hope y'all right.
And let's not forget, another contributor to that was Sabrina in the 3-point contest with Stephen Curry. Mad people sit here seeing that, and they're like, "Oh shoot, she was really going crazy. She was doing just as good as the men." And it's like,
Dub, you're saying it took that 3-point contest for people to realize that women can shoot the basketball?
No. I said it contributes. It contributes to popularizing it. That's what I'm saying. It contributes to more eyes are on it. More eyes see that this product, it's pretty good. Or maybe I've been sleeping on this product. Let me go check this out. If I see Sabrina sit here and hit 10 threes in a game, I'm going to sit here and pay attention to it now. Apart from if she didn't do that all-star game, I probably won't pay attention to it like that because I don't know who the hell she is, because there was no evidence for me that I really looked into to be like, oh yeah, I should go check this out.
Big Ox, I just told you. You said this to me a couple of days ago when we talked about. I'm watching LSU not because of Angel Reese. I'm watching LSU because they got a chick on the team named Flage. I think that's a dope baller name. I want to see who this chick is. I want to watch.
Flage.
Her name is Flage. That just sound dope. I want to watch them. Who is this chick, Flage? For that reason, right there. I don't know what's going on 15 years ago because mass media isn't what it is today. Right. It wasn't, so I probably don't know who Flage is 15 years ago if she was on LSU, but I know now. So now I'm paying attention to her.
We should, you know what? And I was sounding a little pessimistic, but that's just my fear. That's my fear coming out. That's my fear speaking. Hoping, just kind of fearing that people are going to go back under a rock. Because I want to soak this up right now. I want to take a minute and let's look at what's going on right here on this particular show right now. Yeah. We got people sending in super chats talking about these young ladies, talking about women's basketball. We've been talking about it for about 10, 15 minutes now, maybe. And if y'all think about 5-6 months ago, we were getting cussed out for bringing up women's basketball. When I was bringing up women's basketball, the chat was, nobody wants to hear this. Nobody cares. If they put skirts on, we'll watch. And now we see this. That's a beautiful thing. Shout out to those young women. Shout out to Flage, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Juju, Paige. Shout out to all these great Caitlin Clark, of course. Shout out to all the women that I missed talking about just a second ago. All of them. And they really doing their thing. I'm really happy to see that. Really happy to see that.
It's a culmination of a couple things, though. I want to shout out to everybody over the last couple years. I know, Dub, you brought up Sabrina, but Sabrina played 4 years of college and she was balling all 4 years. All of those players, it's been a lead up to this moment. Everybody that's been dope and like they get a little bit of flowers, but now it's finally reached the pinnacle of okay, we see it's all of these good players all together at once, and we actually paying attention. So shout out everybody. I mean, all the women's basketball players for sure, but especially the ones over the last decade that have came and dominated and did their part. Now it's all led up to this one moment. But also, too, Ox, you can't be mad at nobody. If you don't watch it, you don't know. It's plenty of movies out there that I'll be like, man, that movie's whack. And you be like, no, Ron, you got to go watch it. I'll go check it out. And I'll be like, all right, appreciate you for putting me onto that. That was actually a dope-ass movie.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that came from like what you said, just not watching. But to not watch something and just say it's a terrible brand and it's not good, it's not entertaining. Yeah, but then I'm seeing. I think a lot of people maybe caught a game and was like, wait a second, they're playing ball, and it's happy to see that. Y'all keep tuning in, man. Keep tuning in, keep watching. WNBA's around the corner. I think we got something good going.
See, the thing about it is they was wearing the old PC merch. They was casual. So show that sweatshirt you got. They was casuals. I'm trying to tell you guys, don't be a casual, be an ex-casual. You don't gotta stay in your ways. Put your casual ways behind you. Be an ex-casual. Move on. All right. Move up in life. I got a couple people that I want to shout out right now. Well, first off, shout out everybody in the chat except for Almighty Lambo. You guys really doing your thing in the chat. Y'all, dub chat. Y'all really clear. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Like the video if you haven't. Got a couple early super chats, and then we really gonna get into the title of this show because we got some things to talk about. I've heard some things in the rumor mill, some things in the streets going on about Jokic. So we got to figure out exactly who Jokic is and where he's at. But from the top, my man LDN Hoops said dub, real ball knowledge back on the panel. The original done with the 90s guy. Well, 70s and 80s, really. Let's get those super team bandits, Bird and Magic, out of here next.
Any one of y'all can win with 3 to 4 Hall of Fame teammates. Man, shout out to LDN Hoops, man. We stay ahead of the curve every time. Even Mars is switching a bunch of his takes to what mine's are. So we're ahead of the curve all the time, bro. It is what it is. We get hit for it in the moment, but then later on, everyone comes around eventually, right? We was just talking about Buck Williams, bro. Yo, like I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take Chill's word for it. Bro, go watch it. It's all on the internet. All of it. Majority of it. 70s is harder to find than 60s, but like the 80s on, you could watch a lot of games and be like, yeah, this guy isn't really that good, which is why I'm giving so much pushback on Draymond Green struggling with Buck Williams, man. Like I just don't see it happening. Not at all. Not at all.
All right, keeping it lit. Black Rain X said, if I'm Bron, bump that. Bump that GOAT debate. Bump that GOAT debate, take a pay cut, and Steph, and get with Steph, I'm assuming he's saying, and go link with the young boy and Pop in San Antonio for a farewell dynasty. Thoughts on that? Steph and LeBron saying F everything and going to get with Pop and Wemby.
Bro, maybe he's been watching. I've said this a couple months ago.
Oh, so not just Mars stealing your takes. He stole it too.
I swear. I said this a couple months ago. I was like, yo, it seems as if the Spurs can sit here and have an opportunity to get Trae Young. And if I'm LeBron James, I want to play with my son. And I get the Lakers market is great. But if I'm LeBron James, I'm like, yo, I want to make this GOAT conversation as impossible as it can be. Right? I know I can play. No, chill.
This is nasty right now.
I'm the all-time leading scorer. No one's gonna be having the points, rebounds, and assists like I'm doing. Maybe Luka, if he has that, same type of longevity. But majority of people ain't having that. I'm like, all right, I know I can play 5 years, even if I'm just, regressing to like a top 15, top 20 player. I still can play 5 years of being a good basketball player. I'm like, why don't I go with Trae if he goes there? Why don't I go with Wemby? And why don't I go there with that whole crew and reinvent the Showtime Lakers? That's all I'm thinking. That's all I'm thinking about, Chill. I swear. And I think it can happen.
So he jumps on a team with Wemby who would be in year 2. I don't know if first of all, San Antonio to give up DeJounte Murray to Atlanta, they got 4 ones back from Atlanta. So what do you think Atlanta's going to ask San Antonio for Trae Young?
Yeah, that is insane.
That's number one. Okay, that's number one. Trae Young isn't to play. Me and Ox actually had this conversation. I'm calling up Chicago. I'm checking the temperature on Lonzo Ball. I want to find out what's up with him. Because he just got cleared to play. Are those knees still good? Can you give me some years? How many more years can you give me? Because if you could give me some years, he can still distribute. He could defend. He can knock down an open shot. I actually like him with Wemby. Now, as far as James and Curry, okay, first of all, Curry will quit before he go play with the San Antonio Spurs and Wemby. He'll quit first because I can't see him putting on another. I can't see him putting on another uniform. He would not do that. No, I just don't see him doing that. That's number one. Number two, you the same dude, Dub, the same dude that roasts super teams, but then this dude gonna go jump on that, and they end up running off like 2 or 3 straight.
If Magic did it, why can't he?
Okay, so first of all, Magic didn't do anything. Magic was the product of
Oh,
great
my
draft
bad.
in
You're
DM.
right.
Make
You're
sure
right.
we remember that. He was the
And the
product
Lakers investing into their players.
of great drafting in
But hey,
GM. That's what he was.
But hey, chill. Hey, listen, my whole thing is, all I'm saying is, would I like it? Maybe not. I didn't like KD going to the Warriors, right? But if I am putting myself in the mindset of LeBron James, I can understand, you know what? Let me raise. I already got the podcast coming out with JJ, so everyone's gonna think my IQ's on a different level. So, and then I got the stats and everything.
Which it is.
So then, you know, I go win 2 more rings with Wemby. Who can deny that I'm the GOAT?
Is it going to be based solely on championships? Because this
you know that's what it comes down. You know that's what it comes down to.
It can't be that, because if it was that, Bill Russell is the GOAT, and this is not a conversation. That's not a conversation.
Yeah, that's the inconsistency with MJ fans. You know, look at Mars.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of here for this. I want to see Bron and Wemby vibes. Hey, Ox.
Don't talk to me, bro. I'm cool.
Why not?
Don't involve me in this, Ron.
Hey, chill. And you tell me you wouldn't like to watch the Wemby and Bron pick and roll?
I would love it, to be honest with you.
See,
I would.
That would be amazing for the National Basketball
Association. The kid could learn from him, but to be honest with you, I think the kid wants to build something. I see that fire in him. I see that dog in him, and I think that he wants them to build something around him that's long lasting. He doesn't suggest to me a kid that's on something just for like 5 minutes, and that's what James would be. Dub, I think you crazy to think that James is going to play another 5 years. No, I doubt very seriously.
You don't think so?
No, he's not going to be around for another 5 years. No,
he came out only reason that the end is near, though. He literally just had
the only reason LeBron wouldn't play that long is because he's probably tired of going through the motions, and I get that, because a lot of players get tired of I have to do it.
You mean I don't want to? You mean I just don't want to do it anymore?
The only reason I don't see him lasting that long is because he just doesn't feel like playing. But I think his body can definitely sustain.
You think physically he could play another 5 years at this level?
It's no. Which is why I said, you know, with him regressing to like Kareem was, you know, him regressing as the years went on to a lesser and lesser player. The same thing can happen with Bron, especially with him on the Spurs. You have Trae Young offensively handling the rock and playmaking and scoring. Wemby with the defense and his scoring. So that's the perfect crew right there, where you can age gracefully into the sunset. I see the vision. Chill. I'm serious. I see it. I can see it.
But you said age gracefully. He'll be 40 in December, dog. How much more aging do we need here? He's already aged.
Bro, he's a freak
playing at this level. And sure, he's a freak of nature. I won't argue that part. No, he is a freak of nature, and what he's done, I don't think I'm gonna see that again in my lifetime. 100%. With that being said, to bounce around again, because it's hard to move, dub, when you get to that age. Because if you remember, it's not like James has been bouncing around from this team to this team to this team and only been there for a certain amount of time. This is year 6 with Los Angeles. He played 11 years in Cleveland, right? Mm-hmm. He played 4 years in Miami. He's not there for a cup of coffee. He's going to be there for a long time. So the idea of him going down to San Antonio, I would actually like this idea 3 years ago if Wemby was there. But today, nah, because I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play 2 more years, to be honest with you. I don't.
Hey, chat. Let's remember this right here. If this does happen, that's another one I was ahead on the curve. So, you know, we just got to see, baby. We just got to see.
There's no way, Dub, there's no way that LeBron James got into the NBA when I was just about to go to high school. I'm in the 8th grade. LeBron gets to the NBA.
That is crazy.
You're telling me he's going to be in the NBA when my son gets to the 8th grade? No, bro. I just can't imagine.
Didn't LeBron say himself that he would play till he's 45? Or am I tripping?
You can say anything, but you
Tom Brady said that. I never heard James say that. Never heard James say that. Heard Tom Brady say that. Never heard James say that.
Mars, am I tripping? Didn't he say something like that?
Never heard him say that.
I
don't watch LeBron interviews. I don't know. Maybe.
You didn't watch the LeBron podcast?
He said it on his podcast?
No, man. I'm just
Then
asking.
what's that? What relevance would that have?
No, I'm just
that's not-
asking.
that's
You said you don't watch
said the
LeBron
interviews.
interviews.
Yeah,
You didn't
podcast
watch.
it's not an interview. It's a podcast.
Did you watch? I'm just asking. Did you watch the podcast?
Yeah, I've watched this podcast.
Okay. You liked it?
It's all right.
Okay.
Man.
Say something, Mars. What? You 30 minutes in. You've been shutting the hell up the whole time.
You've been
man.
talking about LeBron going to the Spurs. Like, what do
You don't
want
like
to
that
say?
move, Morris?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
So it was a report that came out yesterday. I think it was yesterday that LeBron is not going to opt into his player option this year, which obviously means he's going to be a free agent. Do we see him going back to LA? Do we?
Like I told you, if I'm LeBron James, I'm sitting here like, why am I going back to LA if I have to play this freaking hard? Like, I have to play this freaking hard just for my team to be a playing team. I'm good. I'm looking for a team that I can chill on and age gracefully. That's what I'm looking for.
Are you a nut, Dub? So let me make sure I'm getting this correct. I'm playing with Anthony Davis, who is arguably a top 10 player. That's number one. So now I'm going down to San Antonio with Devin Vassell and Victor Wembanyama in year 2. And we're gonna shoot up. We're gonna shoot up the Western Conference.
Chill out. You should know this as LeBron James. He can attract so many free agents or anybody to force trades to get into that spot that he's in. He's done it with AD. He's done it with Kevin Love. He's done it with them all. Pause.
Chill.
Okay, so
And it's the chance to, like, you know, kind of how Bron moves. The history just it shows. He goes over there. It's a chance that a couple of them young guys, Devin Vassell especially, gets traded for a vet. Chance that happens. Like, oh, okay, Trae Young comes over there. Now you trade whoever's left, Sohan, Devin Vassell, whatever. Then you go re-up and you get somebody else that's if not a top tier all-star, another good all-star. Now you got Bron, Wemby, Trae, another guy. Now what?
Can we keep Bron out of Wemby's legacy, please? Can we just stop? Can we stop trying to add?
We're naming possibilities. All right, y'all tell me what other team. Y'all tell me then.
I'm gonna tell you right now. That's not a possibility. LeBron James is not gonna go somewhere, leave LA and go to a questionable situation. If he leaves and goes somewhere, he's gonna go somewhere where he's more than likely going to be competing for a championship ring. That's not San Antonio next year. On top of that, why do y'all? Like I just said a second ago, why do y'all want to keep thrusting LeBron into everybody's story? Leave Victor Wembanyama.
He's already
alone.
did it. LeBron's done it 4 different times.
Leave Victor alone. Let Vic do his thing. Let's let LeBron ride off into the sunset, and we enjoyed a beautiful career from LeBron James. He's going out as the GOAT. That's beautiful. He doesn't have to.
You got him staying in LA.
What's the
I don't know
team?
where he's going, but he's not going to San Antonio. He might. I don't know. He might go to.
Who?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. That's what I'm saying. You don't know.
I know.
That's a good
it's not
fit right
San Antonio. I know it's
See,
not San Antonio.
that's some hating ass shit. That's some hating ass. Yo, you hating on me.
Y'all need to leave Vic alone.
You hating B?
Let that man do.
You
his
hating
thing.
B?
I'm not hating. I'm just trying to.
Oh, the chat said the Knicks. Knicks isn't that bad.
I thought the Knicks, but I don't know. I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure, but I know places he's not going. I do know that he's not going to Chicago. He's not going to San Antonio. He's not going to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? He's not coming to Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to Portland. You know what I mean? I know that much. I don't know where he's going though. But you know what, Dub? He would go to Golden State before he went to San Antonio.
No, what? Are you crazy?
I don't think he's going to go to State, Dub. I'm just saying he would do that before San Antonio.
I disagree.
Did I mention that I'm almost 40 years old and I got a wife, I got kids, and I've been in California. I've been in California for as long as I've been in California, 6 years. I don't think he leaves the Lakers, to be honest with you. I think he's re-upping back with the Lakers. So would you focus, Big Ox? Could you focus, please?
My bad.
Yeah, focus, man. Focus. What the hell wrong with you, bro?
Thank you. So I personally don't think he leaves. I don't think he leaves the Lakers. I think he goes back there, especially if they end up making the playoffs and do something good. They re-sign Anthony Davis. They'll retool the roster again this summer, and I think he'll be back with the Lakers.
My thing with the Lakers, though, so I understand the Lakers in terms of, like, for his family, right? But if I'm LeBron, like, bro, we've been doing this ever outside of 2020. We have been doing this retooling thing for 4 years now. We keep trying to find pieces to build around us. The pieces aren't healthy or the pieces aren't working out. And we just keep going through the motions as a team to where we're barely making the playoffs. So in my head, like, why am I going through this toxic relationship when we cannot figure it out? It's almost like this, chill, right? And we've talked about this all the time. Me and a chick could really mess with each other, but we are not aligned with each other. So because of that, we're not aligned with each other. We can't make this work. It doesn't mean that I don't like you at all. This is just something that we cannot coexist with one another.
Shouldn't be this hard.
And that's why, like, it's very hard with it shouldn't be this hard, but it is hard with the Lakers right now. You feel me?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This is a good time for everybody that hasn't liked the video to like the video. It's also a time for me to shout out everybody in the chat, including the goofies and the people with no logic. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Shout out to everybody over in the UK as well. I just want to shout out my people. You know, I say shout out to everybody over there living the good life, bangers and mash and all that good stuff. Salute to you.
Shout out to the Barbies and Drillers.
PlayersChoiceMerch.com. If you haven't got a chance to go over there, y'all go cop you some. It's a QR code right there below Mars. Scan that QR code. Go check out what we got. We got new stuff dropping, and it will consistently drop. You guys will be seeing it soon. You'll be seeing it soon. Also, playback today. There will be a good old playback. Speaking of the Warriors, it will be the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. This game has a lot of stake, right, Mars?
Big game. That is a big game.
Who's doing it? Who's doing it?
You. Never mind.
Check out Mars.
JD and Jalen. All right. JD and Jalen will be doing it.
So Dallas played the Warriors today. The Rockets, you guys kind of.
We have the Timberwolves. We're losing. Yes, we know. Yes.
I don't think.
Yes, we're getting destroyed. We've accepted.
Yeah.
We just need Dallas to handle business. We need Dallas.
We're on the road. Yeah, we are on the road.
We're on the road. We're getting
destroyed.
We are going to get destroyed.
Rudy's about to have like 2020, bro.
We need Dallas to handle business so that we don't fall even further behind before we play the Warriors on Thursday, and that's the game we have to win. We are not going to beat the Timberwolves.
Put the over on Rudy, man. 2020. He's having 2020 that night.
Chicago just went in there 2 days ago and beat them too, Miles, by the way. I just want to put that on
Good for
your mind.
them. They have bigs who can rebound.
Yeah.
We have Jabari Smith at the 5. It's different. Not to mention, we have one offensive threat. They're just going to double team Jalen Green and make Dylan Brooks make threes. Like, I've already accepted we're going to lose. I've accepted it. I'm going to watch the game, and I'm not even going to be heartbroken when we lose by 25. There's nothing we can do. It's cool. It's what it is. Oh, well. I'll come here tomorrow, and no one asks me about the game because everything that's going to happen is going to happen. I've already accepted it. We're not going to be able to score at the paint because Rudy Gobert is just going to be altering every single shot. They're going to trap Jalen Green off every pick and roll. They're going to force Dylan Brooks to make jumpers. He's not going to make jumpers. And then defensively, we're going to have no one to get rebounds. We're just going to lose the game. It's cool. They're a top. Where are they in the West? Like 2, 3? Somewhere. They're very high in the West for a reason.
You're talking about Minnesota? They're in second place.
Yeah, so we're going to lose.
Third place, I'm sorry. Third place.
They're still battling for, like, they're still around contention.
Yeah, they're going to take the game serious too. It's not like they're going to be chilling. Like, nah, it's what it is. We lose. They're a better team than us right now. Now, if we had Sengun, who knows? But without Sengun, nah, we're good. I'm hoping we win, but we're not going to. But I'm hoping we win.
Yeah,
the big game. Hope we win, but we're not.
The big lineups that you guys don't have is it'd be killing y'all in some games. Like, it is disgusting how y'all get destroyed on the boards and just on the interior. So Rudy Gobert is about to have, and even Nas Reed, they're about to have a field day on.
We might actually see Rudy Gobert post ups today.
He's doing putbacks. I think he's doing a bunch of putbacks today. Is he gonna make them? I don't know, but he's definitely gonna be doing putbacks.
Yes.
What kind of conversation we having about Rudy after he wins the Defensive Player of the Year this year?
I'm having the same convo I've been having. My opinion changed.
Yeah, y'all need. I'm not gonna lie. Dang, I gotta defend Rudy right now. This is crazy. But I feel like people penalize Rudy Gobert due to the era that he's came up in. Like, if he's in the 90s and playing this level of defense, he's getting looked at as like a top 5 defender in NBA history. People will look at him in that light. But because he's in an era where it's perimeter oriented, so there's more opportunities for him to get cooked on the perimeter. People are cooking him for that. But Kareem will get cooked on the perimeter. Dikembe will get cooked on the perimeter. A lot of players who's great defensively and rim protecting is going to get cooked in the perimeter. So the fact that Rudy Gobert gets so much hate for it is weird to me, when the majority of the bigs in NBA history is getting cooked by Luka, getting cooked by Steph, getting cooked by Harden, and cooked by all these other guys. It doesn't make sense to me why he gets cooked more than everyone else.
Because he's asked to do that, and they weren't. That's why they weren't asked to do it. So why would they get cooked for being bad at something they weren't asked to do?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That explains why he gets cooked. He's asked to do it. He can't. Well,
no. It doesn't.
He's actually gotten better.
Yeah, he has gotten better, and I gave him credit for that a couple years ago when people were blaming him for the Jazz losing, and I was like, "There's no way you're blaming him." But if Dikembe was asked to defend on the perimeter and got cooked, he would get cooked the same way Rudy does. But because he wasn't asked to, you can't cook him for hypothetically he would get cooked. Like, that's why he doesn't.
No, but Mars, it's happened. It's talking about having, like, people not having the open mind of all of these things happening. I think there's so much more value in Rudy Gobert and what he's doing, because even though, like, he does get cooked to me, he's still for a big, like, he's not that bad of a perimeter defender to me. And then on top of that, him and his ability to rim protect is something that's, like, to cover this amount of space in this era is wild to me. So people not having, what I don't understand is people not having the open-mindedness of seeing the struggles that he's going through to play.
You don't think he's a liability on the perimeter anymore?
No, I still do think so, but I think
which means that you are the one, the very thing that you're trying to very thing that you're trying to defend Rudy on. Yes, you are going to listen to this, though, because
he's just saying the same way Rudy's a liability, everyone else to be a liability. So we should
and not only would everyone else be a liability, the same way the same people that you talk about, Dub, you are the one who started this about Rudy. So now what you're doing is you're defending him. You are the one who started all of this about how bad he is.
You can't see the error. What you can't see the error in your ways sometimes. Chill and just be like, yeah, maybe I went too far off the deep end, man.
Well, he's more passionate about disrespecting the past errors than disrespecting Rudy, so he has to pick one or the other because
which is really interesting to me, because like you just said, Mars. So a guy like Rudy, who does have his fair share of getting flamed on the perimeter, but we talk about Shaq all the time in the pick and roll. Shaq was the Utah Jazz made a conscious effort to go after Shaq in the pick and roll. Mm-hmm. They made which is why they were beating them in 5 games and they were sweeping them, because they made sure to go after Shaq in the pick and roll, because Shaq could not defend the pick and roll. And it wasn't because John Stockton cracked the long ball like Steph Curry. No, it was because how the pick and roll was being distributed, right? So if that's going on today, if Shaq is playing today, if Lajuan is playing today, if Dikembe Mutombo is playing today, if Patrick Ewing is playing today, these guys would struggle on the perimeter. And the reason why they would struggle on the perimeter is because the game is more wide open. Does that lessen how good they are as defenders on the block? Does that lessen how good they are as defenders around the rim? No, they would just have to expand being good on the perimeter. Now, does that mean that they have to be elite? No, because Rudy isn't elite. He just had to be better than what he just had to be he had to be better than what he was before when he was in Utah. He just had to be a little bit better. And he did that. And I feel like maybe Shaq could have done that. I don't know if Dikembe Mutombo could have done that, because Mutombo was more of a mud foot. He 100% was. Mm-hmm. So I think that guys like that, like Rudy Gobert, the thing I think about most with him is I think about the fact that he won the Defensive Player of the Year. I think and I'm an accolades guy. I won't lie about that. Mm-hmm. The fact that he won the Defensive Player of the Year, I think that's a result of how awesome he is. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to discount the other guys. Like the fact that Rudy Gobert won a Defensive Player of the Year, that doesn't significantly make him better than Tim Duncan, who played at that level for a decade. That doesn't, the fact that, don't get me wrong, I think that Rudy Gobert winning the Defensive Player of the Year 4 times in 7 years, I think that compounds how good he is. And I think it solidifies how good he is. But it doesn't take away from how awesome Scottie Pippen was and the fact that he played at that level for a decade. So I don't want to discount that. But I do want to also make sure that Rudy Gobert is recognized as an elite defender. I do want to recognize.
So let me ask you this, especially if he wins again this year, where are you ranking him in terms of like a defensive player? Because how many is that? 3 now? 3 DPOYs that he?
It'd be four. It'd be four in 7 years.
Oh my God, 4 is crazy. So yeah, 4 is wild. So 4 DPOYs, where would he rank in terms of defensive player for you?
I think he'd be right there with Ben Wallace. I don't think he's ahead of Olajuwon. I still don't think he's ahead of Dennis Rodman. I don't think he's ahead of Scottie Pippen. I think he's a better defensive player than David Robinson was. I do think he's a better defensive player.
You think Dennis Rodman is better than David Robinson?
I do. Do I think Dennis Rodman was better?
Yeah, you think Dennis Rodman was a better defender than David Robinson?
I think Dennis Rodman was the 3rd best defensive player in NBA history after Bill Russell and Olajuwon.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yes.
Shout out Dennis Rodman.
Absolutely. I think he's the 3rd best.
I don't think that's crazy to say at all. Especially with
Chill.
What version of Dennis Rodman though? Because it's a few different iterations of him.
So not the first year he won the Defensive Player of the Year. I think the best version of Dennis was 91, 92. I think that was the best version of Dennis as a defender. How he just shut down defenses, how he just completely took guys on the perimeter out of the offense, how he was able to keep his offense alive with loose balls, how he was able to rebound and shut down offenses with one shot, and how he just completely was versatile and how he was able to cover more than one position. And I thought that just catapulted the Detroit Pistons into being who they were. So to answer your question, Dub, I don't think he was better than Russ. I don't think he was better than Olajuwon. I don't think he was better than Dennis Rodman. I don't think he was better than Duncan.
Pippen, you said Pippen too.
Scottie Pippen. We talking about him like Ben Wallace, Dwight Howard, guys like that.
Another one.
That's what we're talking about.
Who's better right now, AD or Rudy Gobert? At their best.
And that's the point that I was making, Dub, about winning the Defensive Player of the Year, winning the Defensive Player of the Year, but also playing at that level. Because I feel like Anthony Davis plays at that level. The separator is consistency. So Anthony Davis has been banged up. So because he's been banged up, I feel like it's hampered his ability to play at that level consistently. Are the goods there? Yes, they are. But the fact that he was hampered by injury, he wasn't able to play at that level as consistently as Rudy Gobert has been able to play at that level. And I feel like that matters.
Are you talking about this year or are you talking about their peak?
Not this year. This year, I feel like he's playing right at the same level as Anthony Davis as a defender.
Now, all right, so if we think that Rudy Gobert, this is like the best version of defender that we've seen, is AD around that category as well?
I don't think this is the best version of Rudy Gobert as a defender. I think this is one of the best. I think this is one of the best versions of him. I think the best version of him was the 2nd Defensive Player of the Year that he won in Utah. I think that was no. Take that back. In 21, I think that was the best version of him on that Jazz team, which I thought they should have been better than what they were defensively, and they just weren't. And I don't get why they weren't as good as they were. But to answer your question, the fact that Anthony Davis plays at that level defensively, the separator is the consistency. That's always been it when you're talking about great players. Because when these guys are neck and neck, it's not necessarily numbers. It's, how long are you doing it? And how often are you getting it done? And Anthony Davis, over the last 4 years, his games have ramped up, and he's been in the lineup more this year in particular. I think he's top 10 in the league in minutes. So he's been available, and I think he's on pace to play 70 games this year. If he was like that over the last 4 years, where I could get 60+ games from him plus the defense that he's playing, I think that we're having a way different conversation about him and Anthony Davis.
So AD in his peak. AD in his peak. I'm talking about when he's on the Pelicans playing great defense consistently amount. I think he was like still playing like 60+ games in those seasons, right? Anthony Davis at his peak. Do you think Rudy Gobert is better than that, or they're on the same level?
No, I think that Rudy Gobert at Anthony Davis at his peak, I feel like he was a much better perimeter defender. And I feel like that because he was more comfortable in his skin. Remember, we're talking about an Anthony Davis who went from 6'2", playing the guard spot, to 6'10", but he could still do what 6'2" guys do. So he didn't have a problem playing on the perimeter, moving his feet, closing out. He didn't have a problem. It took Rudy Gobert some time to get acclimated to playing on the perimeter, as opposed to Anthony Davis, who it was almost like it was second nature to him to play on the perimeter and be a good defender on the perimeter and closing out on long balls, closing out on guys in the mid-range, and being able to block shots without fouling.
So, yeah, who was better? Because me personally, I think AD was better than Rudy Gobert. And because of that, in these top 5 combos, and for some reason, I don't know why Anthony Davis, when talked about Defensive Player of the Year, ever in NBA history, people always leave him off of these combos. I think he's in the top 5 conversations in terms of defensive player, but not too many people talk about him enough. All-time defender. Sure. There's not been a defender as my bad, Chill. You got it right at. But to me, there's not been a lot of defenders as complete of a defender as Anthony Davis is, when they can literally do everything that you need.
To answer your question, Dub, I think Anthony Davis at his peak, because of the separator is the defense on the perimeter, because how comfortable he was on the wing, as opposed to Rudy Gobert, who had to grow into that.
So he thinks AD is better. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and shout out some of the new members. DJ's World became a new member today. Toxic Hoodie also became a new member. And Black Rain X became a new member. Shout out to the new members. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and slap that subscribe button. And while you doing it, go ahead and tap that like button too, man. I got a couple other super chats I want to go ahead and get to. Shepherd Sound said, "Get Van Lith off the floor."
That's not fair. I'm sorry. That's not fair, because like how Drew was getting torched by Jimmy Butler, and I agree with Bob.
Get Drew off the floor. Get Drew. You ain't gonna help Drew. Get him off the floor.
They're not helping.
If you're not gonna help him, get him off the floor. Get him off the floor. Dub, you're not gonna sit there and let me get in the ring with this dude and get beat up and then not throw and get me out the ring.
Please,
if you're not gonna help me, then get him out the ring. What
that's
are you doing?
Bro, that's like me trying to get in a street fight with Mike Tyson. Bro, you better sit here and send some help. I'm not trying to fight this dude one-on-one. That's crazy. That's crazy what they did.
That was out of pocket. I can't believe she just let
Bro, you got 40 dropped on your head because your coach was like, "Yeah, we're not going to send a double. We're not going to
I just need y'all to wrap this around your head. That is a fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. That game,
Mike Bud got fired. Yeah.
That's an elite. Hey, they win that game to go to the Final Four. That's a
championship. The last year, we won a championship. I'm getting fired in 1 year.
And you should have been in contention to win one this year,
which we were.
No, you weren't. That game wasn't even close. They had no chance of winning that game. And LSU was a better team. LSU was supposed to win that game.
Ox, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't know if LSU's a better team.
I do.
I don't know. We act like Iowa was not in a national championship just last year. We act like Iowa doesn't really have the most productive player in the nation on their team. They have the most storied college basketball player in history in terms of individual accolades. On any given night, Iowa can beat anybody. I know how you guys feel about South Carolina. South Carolina can get 40 put on their head too. They can get 40 and 12 put on their head too and underperform and lose.
Yes, anybody can lose to anybody, Ron. That's not the conversation. The conversation is what team is better. LSU's a better team. I'm not saying that they can't be beat. You just watched last night. They can't be beat.
I don't know.
I understand you don't know. I'm saying I do know. LSU's better than Iowa, and they got beat because their coach just sent them in there.
A coach is a part of a team.
All right, never mind.
If Iowa's coach is going to put together better schemes, if he's going to put them in a position to play better, if they're going to defend LSU better than LSU can defend them, if they're going to run the court better than them, and if they ultimately have the best player on the floor, maybe Iowa is a better team. LSU doesn't have the same team last year as they had this year.
You're right. They have a better team this year than they had last year.
It didn't look it.
That's my point, Ron. That's what I'm saying.
That is exactly what he's saying, Ron.
I'm saying, if they were better, they would have won.
I hear
that's not how it goes,
Rod's
Dub.
point.
Don't agree with that because that's not how it
It
works.
was better
The
than
best
LeBron.
team doesn't always win. The best team's supposed to win, but they don't always win. A lot of times they lose. You know what I'm saying? Like the team, LSU had a better basketball team. Coach Moki sold her squad. That's a fireable offense. Worst coaching display I've ever seen in my life.
Ever?
Ever.
I don't know if it's worse than playing drop coverage on Steph Curry in 22 in the finals. I don't know.
It's just as bad. Steph Curry, Caitlin Clark, same motherfucker. Like, what you doing?
Chill out on my coach, please. Chill out on my coach. Thank you.
I don't know if that was that bad.
Your coach should have never committed a fireable offense, man.
Facts.
I mean, you not see him try and defend Luka with Jock Landale switches. I mean,
well, that's not why he got fired. He should leave people's wives alone.
That's really what should happen. If we're being honest about it.
Wives should never. Nope, I'm not.
No, that's true. No, Dub, you're spitting. You're spitting. I'm
Oh,
just saying.
okay. I was like, wives should, try to be more loyal, but it is what it is.
You're spitting.
We got a super chat from
Takes two to
Alan
tango.
Does
Dub
take
today.
two.
Today you are Alan Dub, and he said, "Well, L Dub and L Ox, Dub PC Beanie."
Okay, look, man, I'm gonna tell you like this. It has escalated quickly from a noogie to a wet willy. When I see him, it's just straight swirlies. I'm talking about upside down swirly. I'm talking. I'm gonna catch Alan L and give him the meanest swirly ever, bro.
Damn, Alan L, you better be on the swivel.
That's what it sounds like, brother.
Don't get caught on the island like Haley Van Lith.
I'm telling you.
Sound like you kissed it, brother.
Naptown's been a member for 2 months and sent through a super chat saying UConn made it tough for USC and Juju.
And this is what we was talking about earlier, Big Ox. I mean, that's the future of women's college basketball right there. Her. Like, then I'd like for them to get somebody on the East Coast so people on the East Coast can watch more. But I mean, she is the future of women's college basketball. No doubt.
You still got Paige on the East Coast?
I think how many more years Paige got?
She
got
coming back for another
next year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paige about to go crazy next year. She
She
was
Juju.
this year.
And don't forget, Free Wally only a freshman too. So
I got Juju over Paige, but it's not. Paige is bad. Paige is bad, and she play. Paige do everything, and she play defense too.
She's injury prone too.
She damn near won the game last night with her defense. Those 2 steals down the stretch, that was major. Jumping the passing lanes and going and getting coast to coast layups. Renji sent through a super chat and said Trae Young and Wemby is what should really happen. Trae and Wemby could be the best duo in the league for the next 10 years.
Yapping, Renji. That's what that you talk about me yapping. How about you? That's yapping right there. That's exactly what that is.
You don't think that duo is deadly?
The best for a decade. The best for a decade for 10 years. Them two together. The best.
They ain't seen Jalen Green and Prince Green.
That's the best duo for 10 years.
So
it might not be 100% true, but it's not 100% wrong either. That duo is crazy.
They linked up tomorrow, right now. They link up next year.
Dude just said let me make sure I'm understanding you. Who else would challenge him? So, like you just said, Ron, if they just linked up, who else would challenge
next year?
him? I'm 100%
for 10
confident.
years.
I'm 100% confident that Jamal Murray and Joker still exist. I'm sure of that. That's number one. To Mars's point, Jalen Green.
No. Chill. What you say? Don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in. Chill.
Listen, Green didn't give Wemby 45.
Shut up, Mark. Shut up.
Not only that. Last time I checked,
yes or no? Did that happen? Yes or no?
Last time I checked,
Now it didn't happen. Okay.
And last time I checked, what are Wemby's deficiencies on offense? What's one of his biggest deficiencies on offense?
3-point
He can't screen. He's not a very good screener. That's what he's not. So playing in the NBA, exactly. So if I'm not mistaken, getting Trae Young for the next 10 years, they're going to be the best duo in the league because he's a second-year player. That's just going to magically change.
Chill.
Chill.
What are we doing?
Chill.
What's happening?
Screening ability is
Come
what
on,
this is all.
chill.
So this rocky foundation is all predicated on the fact that you said Victor Wembanyama can't set screens. Chilltown.
Yes. Yes.
I Sengun ain't giving 45.
Bro, hold on, bro.
Please.
What I'm trying to make sense of
trying
it,
to protect Wemby like he's just the second coming of Jesus Christ.
which he is.
45. I
He's
bring
just
it up
not
and you
there.
act like that just means nothing. Like what? How
And
does
Joel
that mean
Embiid didn't
nothing?
put 60 on him.
How
70,
does that
I'm
mean
sorry.
nothing? How does Sengun giving Wemby
He's a baby,
45
though.
just
Chill,
get
give him a
blown
couple
away
seasons.
like that's
Okay,
nothing?
Mars. Okay,
And I'm
Mars.
down
It
to
means
do that.
something. It means something. It means
I'm
something.
down,
Hey,
and
Go
that I'm
on
down
to
to
the
do.
next. Go on to the next.
That right
Very
there,
good.
Ox, I'm down to do. I'm
Okay.
definitely down to do that. I'm definitely down to give him a couple of years. But to say that for the next decade, when Trae Young gets Wemby for the next 10 years, when does this start? Does this start immediately, or does this start in a couple of years after he gets him?
So let's say they get together for the first year and a half.
Next
They're
year.
gonna be on. Let's say he gets there this free agency. He gets there. So this first season it might be a little rocky, but after that, Chilltown, it's on. It's on. That's all I'm saying. Like my biggest thing is I think that's a good take. Do I think it's 100% accurate? Do I think it's a foolproof take?
Take
No,
the
not
10
at
years
all.
out.
But I think it's a very good
take.
take.
What about Shay and Chet?
Take the
That's
10 years.
Shay
out.
and Chet. Shay and Chet's a good one. I think Jokic and Murray, number one, with Murray being hurt all the time and him being young, and in the next 10 years, I think that could probably be a consistent thing. I don't know. And Jokic is 29. So 10 years from now, he's going to be 39. So trying to
LeBron 39.
Is Trae Young?
shut up.
Is
So-
Trae Young? Okay, like you just said.
It's Trae Wemby and then Chet and Shea for me. I think
So-
those are the two. If they stay together, that's going to be like the two duos in the league.
Right. So after this season, like you just said, Big Ox, the 24-25 season, they got together. So would it be not next season, but the year after that?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the 25-26 season, are they better than Dame and Giannis?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. They're not
But
even in this conversation.
So them two dudes is over.
Are we talking about the better players or the fit?
Well, Ron, they're going to be done
The
very
fit is
soon.
what
That's all I mean.
we're talking about. We're talking about
They
the
got
duo.
about 3 seasons maybe. Ron.
What we talked about was the duo, right? We talked about the duo. So are they? So is Trae and Wemby, are they better than Maxey and Embiid?
Not yet. Yes. Because that duo right there is being carried by Joel. That duo right there is being carried by Joel.
We can say Jalen Green and Sengun. I'm sorry, there's no way we can't say Jalen.
If we can say
No, Mars. We're not saying either. We're not saying either.
I'm saying that, but if we can say Maxey and Embiid, we can say Sengun.
Not Maxey Embiid. No.
I mean, Maxey shot out this year. So I mean, respect.
Good. It's Shay and Chet. That's the answer.
What about Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam?
Shay and Chet. That's the
Throw them
answer.
Yo.
I'm just saying, let's throw some names out there.
No.
Shay and Chet.
No, I think it's between Shay and Chet and then Trae and Wemby for me.
Jalen, don't forget Jalen and Juice. You know,
but what trio is going to be better than them in the next 5 years? Trae, LeBron, and Wemby. What trio is going to be better than that?
Jalen Green after Sengun and the Men Thompson. What?
And stop saying 5 years, Dub. He's not playing that long. This dude is not going to be here in 5 years. He's not. That's not happening. You wild right now, man. You are super wild right now.
Don't forget Ant and Cat.
Oh man,
we good?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm thinking of it, and I'm like, in all of these proposed duos, except for Shay and Chet, Trae Young's the best guard. And then when I look at the big man aspect, Wemby is going to be the best defender and have the most impact out of everybody, excluding Jokic.
So Sengun didn't give him 45.
Yo, Mo, shut up! Shut up!
Dub, did that not happen? Dub, did that happen?
You said it happened. Like, shut up!
Wemby's the best defender, and other than Jokic, the impact like Sengun ain't give him 45. Like
Joel Embiid did put 70 on him. Joel Embiid
Sabonis been cooking AD. Is De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis better to do it than LeBron and AD?
Yes. Yes. What?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
now? Yeah, what now? Yeah.
Shut up! Shut up! You don't even believe that. You don't even believe that. I know you don't. I know you don't.
You know what I do believe? You know what I do?
Maybe
Yo,
he don't.
you're
Maybe he
Wemby
don't believe it.
45.
He might not believe it, but I do.
You believe it, Ox. I know
I
you
believe.
do.
I believe Wemby got 45. from
Scooting
Sengun. That's
DeAndre
fine.
Ayton.
And I believe Jalen Green gave Trae Young a triple double. I believe both of those things are true, and they're both true.
Yo.
So
Is that what that is, Mars? They go 45. Hold this. Hold that.
straight, just
take
gave
that.
him straight buckets for a whole
There you
game,
go.
bullying
Take
him in the
that.
post, dunked on him like
I'll give
twice,
it- I'll give
and
it to you later.
somehow, Wemby's defensive impact is just the best. Other than Jokic, best impact. Like Sengun ain't giving
Mars,
feedback.
this one game, bro.
Okay.
Mars is the same
One-on-one.
one, by the way.
Okay.
Mars, by the way, Dub, is the same
Guess
one.
how many points Wemby had in that game? 10.
I want to make sure we clear though.
Yeah, those were bad games.
So Dub, make sure we
Yeah,
clear.
how long that's tonight? Wemby just cooks against the Rockets. He doesn't cook.
And by the way,
5
Mars,
blocks though.
Dub, just so you know,
Yeah, he
Mars
broke
thinks
Sengun 4 times.
Mars thinks Wemby is going to be the best defensive player in NBA history. You don't
Yeah,
think he's going to be?
That's why I'm not paying Marsh no attention.
Like, don't pay him attention,
Yeah.
bro. Like, it's so annoying.
So because you think I'm trolling, that changes the fact that Sengun gave him 45.
Shut
Marsh,
up.
Hey, Marsh, you know what this is gonna turn into? All because of you.
man.
It's gonna be bad juju on you guys when you play the Spurs. All
We've
because
already
of you.
cooked them.
No, it's
All
not.
right.
Nice.
No, it's not.
We lost to them
What
early
you
on
mean?
in the
No, it's
season.
not. So
We
No,
lost
it's not.
to them early on in the season. That's cool.
Ooh,
Wemby-
okay. What about Franz and Paolo?
He wants
All
to
right,
change.
my bad,
Chat. He
man.
wants to
Okay.
change. Chat. I don't know what to say. He wants to change. Chat.
the
But
fact that
Sengun
J-
still gave him 45. I'm just putting up. Sengun still gave him.
the
45.
fact that JT and JB aren't getting no love is crazy too.
Yeah, that's insane.
They can
But
get
they're
love. They're
all-
just
wait.
not better than Trae and Wemby.
How old is JB again?
They're
20
27 and 26.
27 and 26.
JB
Yeah,
27.
that they could be in the combo too. Yeah, they could still be in the combo.
Nah,
Mhm.
nah. It's Trae and Wemby.
I don't believe in that duo though anymore. I'm done with it.
RJ and Scotty Barnes.
Chill out, Ron. Chill out, Ox.
If you can say them, I can definitely say
Relax.
Jalen Green.
All right, Mars. All right, Mars. Okay.
Hey! Shout out
Okay, Mark.
Cade Cunningham and James
Duran
Wiseman.
or
Yeah.
Duran.
Hey, James Wiseman been hooping recently, man.
I know.
James Wiseman been hooping.
Jordan Poole and Marvin Bagley.
Ron, see what happens, Ron? You're gonna let this happen, Ron. This is what you're gonna do,
Ron,
right?
this is your fault. This is your fault.
He's
Ron.
gonna let this keep going, right? That's what we
I
doing.
mean, if you guys acknowledge that Sengun gave Wemby 45, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
He acknowledged it. Mars it
Scooting
happened.
DeAndre Ayton. Don't lead him
Ron
through.
want to praise the defensive impact side.
Scooting DeAndre Ayton. Don't lead him out too. Scooting DeAndre
Don't
Ayton.
leave out the worst point guard in the league.
This man said
Don't-
DeAndre
Yeah, don't lead
Ayton.
him out.
No.
There's a lot of duos out there. There's a lot of duos.
No. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
All right, y'all. We got more super chats. Kobe Agu said, "If you ask me, Paige and Caitlin are top 2. Juju not on Paige level yet."
I don't think she
That's
is.
a fact.
Yeah, I don't think she's there yet. Nope. If Paige had not gotten hurt, I mean, I think we'd be having a way different conversation about her. Don't forget, she missed the whole season. Right?
Yeah.
She missed an entire season. So the way she came back, and the way she's been playing, I mean, without injury, she'd be
That's
even better
impressive.
today.
Yeah,
she'd
that
be
is
even better
impressive.
today. So
I ain't watched too much of Paige, but the few times I've this year, I'm not gonna lie, she is tough. So I'm crazy. I didn't think I would ever get into WNBA. Never thought of it in my life. I guess I'm getting into it right now. Or women's
Well,
basketball.
Paige ain't going to the
Check
league,
you
so
out,
he
dog.
gotta keep watching UConn.
You don't think she not going to the league?
She already said she
Not
going
this.
back.
Not this year. She's
Yeah,
not.
she already going. She said she going back to
Did
college.
y'all see? Is it true that Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark like $5 million to?
Yes.
she
You
did.
think she?
That's the
You think?
rumor.
You think she's gonna do it?
No.
Nah,
I'd do it, but
I would too.
Cruiser Nation, the dog cage. Shout out Cruiser. He just said dub panel. It's as simple as that. And
Remember
Cruiser's
for
been a member
14
for 14 months. Y'all should get like Cruiser.
shout out to Sengun too, giving Wemby 45.
Coach Saunders said the Pelicans dropped to the 6th seed last night. Did you guys?
I told you guys the Suns would win. Told you they would win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second time I've said the Suns would win and they won.
So who got the
Mhm.
5th seed now?
Dallas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Told you Dallas would move up.
So it's Dallas. Well, let me just put this on the screen right now. But while I'm putting this on the screen, are we not going to talk about Devin Booker Masterclass?
I only watched the first quarter because he already had 24. I was like, yeah, I'm not about to watch him have 70.
35 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I was too busy watching Kim Mulkey sell.
I don't think a lot of people.
I switched over to the.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people was watching the NBA games last night. If I'm gonna just be honest.
Oh, I'm tripping. I was watching. I was on playback. I watched that.
Nah, I was watching the playback. He was not watching the game.
He was not.
He was not watching the game.
All right, so this is what we're looking at right now on the West. We'll go to the East in a second too. On the Western side, we got OKC sitting up top at 52-22. The Nuggets are just a half game behind them at 52-23. And then you got the Wolves at 51-23 as well. So that's going to be a close, tight race all the way down to the wire. Then you got your next tier teams with the Clippers, the Mavericks, and the Pelicans. This should be interesting to see how this goes too. Clippers are the 4th seed at 47-27. The Mavericks are the 5th seed at 45-29. And then the Pelicans are just behind them at 45-30. I got to ask you guys, how do you feel about this top 3 seed, the race for the top seed between the top 3 teams, and then the race for, I guess you could say, the 4th seed between those next 3 teams?
I set this on From the Logo. Go check that out.
What time does From the Logo come on?
I think it's on tonight at 6.
Mm.
So I think Tuesdays and Thursdays is at 6, and then Sundays is at 1. I was telling Gifted that the Pelicans was going to be falling down, and they may fall into the play-in, and the Suns are going to move up, especially after BI got hurt. So I don't think the Suns are going to be in the play-in. I think the Pelicans are probably going to go back into there like they've been doing for like a good portion of their tenure now, and we're going to probably see the Pelicans and the Kings go at it rather than the Suns. Suns are about to go on a run.
Pelicans and Kings. Oh, you got the Pelicans falling to the play-in.
Pelicans are falling to the play-in. The Suns are only what, one game behind now?
Hold on, I'm putting it back on the screen right
Yes,
now.
one game. Yes, one game.
They're one game behind right now. So, and I get
This is what it looks like.
And I get the Suns' schedule is difficult, but so is the Pelicans. And I believe in the Suns more than the Pelicans, so that's why I'm banking on them. So
I mean, they just beat the brakes out of the Pelicans last night.
Exactly, and they're playing them again at home. Like they did that away. They're doing that at home. Nurkic was killing them on the boards like last night. It was disgusting. So I'm not gonna lie. The Suns are a scary team in the postseason, man. I think a lot of teams are gonna be afraid to be facing them. I swear.
So right quick. Let's say that the Suns do move to the 6 and the Pelicans move to the 7 seed. First off, I gotta ask, how do you guys feel about the Suns and Pelicans? Or the Suns in the Wolves, who wins that series? But then also, it looks like Ox's dream comes true with this Kings and Pelicans matchup.
Actually, Ron, you know what? That's a blessing in disguise. Let me tell you why.
Because BI went.
No. Because we're gonna lose that game. We're losing that game. We play the Pelicans. Okay. We play the Pelicans first round of the play-in. We're losing. That's good though, because then we get to play the Lakers, and then we get to then we get to play OKC. Boom. That's how we make it to the second round without Malik Monk.
And then Malik Monk can come back in the second round.
So, the beam will light again. That's how we get to the Western Conference Finals right there. Get to the AC, beat OKC. Leak comes back in the second round. We kick whoever ass.
So you're doing what Miami did last year.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
In the second round, y'all would technically see
the Clippers or Mavs. The Clippers or Mavs.
I'm not too mad at that. That's not that bad of a route. but does OKC finish atop the West though? That's the question I gotta ask you guys. Nuggets, OKC, Timberwolves. How do you guys see that going 1, 2, 3?
Who knows? I'm the guy to be honest. I don't know.
So they're in Philly tonight, and then they're in Boston tomorrow night. So they got a tough.
But they're gonna beat Philly. But
they should beat Philly.
They're gonna beat Boston too.
They should beat Philly. I don't know if they beat Boston, and the reason why
Boston not trying no more, man.
I think the difference, Mars, they already lost to them earlier this year, so I don't think that they're looking at them going like this is nothing. But I mean, as far as Phoenix last night, I mean, like you said, Mars, I mean, like you said, Ron, that masterclass of Devin Booker, I was surprised that Herb Jones wouldn't do a better job on Devin Booker. He couldn't really do nothing with him. last night. He couldn't do anything with him. He couldn't keep the ball away from him. He didn't stop him in transition. On a one-on-one, they were also playing drop coverage. He was getting to his spots as quickly. He was getting to his spots way quicker than he normally does. I just thought they did a terrible job on him last night. A terrible job. And he made him pay. 100% he did. He made them pay.
I remember, I think we recently had a conversation about certain defenders. When you play against certain offensive players,
you're just going to get your ass bust. Yeah, there's really not much else you can do about it.
It would have happened to Amen Thompson, but I mean, it happens.
So, and on top of that, so Herb started out on KD, if I'm not mistaken. Herb started out on KD. So it's like Devin Booker already got it rolling. By that time, you go for 24 in the first quarter. It don't matter at that point. Kind of what Ox was saying about Caitlin Clark last night. Haley Van Lith and Poa already, they got her going by the time it was, time for Flage to come get on her. It's like, I already got 35.
It's too late.
I'm already hot. I didn't see the
avalanche had already started at that point.
With that being said, I like Herb Jones a lot too, but that's just one of those games where Herb, do your best, but they got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Somebody's getting cooked tonight. Right?
Yeah.
Ron, to answer your question, what you said before about the Timberwolves and the Suns, like I keep saying, I think the Suns, what they did this year is completely upgraded on almost all positions, right? Better third option in Bradley Beal, better big in Nurkic, more depth, more shooting, just better role players in general, right? So the Suns crew and what they have right now, I get they have highs and they have lows as well. But when I think about this, like schematically, especially against the Timberwolves, a team that definitely in their offense, I think their offense isn't that strong. And even if Rudy Gobert is going great, I think Nurkic does have size to kind of counteract him. I got the Suns winning that series against them. Like, I think their shooting, their ability to stretch them thin is something that's going to be key here. And I remember one game that they played, I don't remember the others, but I remember one game they played, like, the Suns was just routing them the whole game. I think they had, 15 threes in that game. So that was back in November. So I'm not gonna lie, the Timberwolves versus the Suns, I'm taking the Suns every single time.
So
this
first
is
of all,
a series I want to see. I would love to see Jaden McDaniels matched up against KD, but I also want to see the Book versus Ant showdown too. I think that'd be a good ass series. But chill, as you were saying.
So number one, the Suns have one of the worst bench productions in the league. So they have not upgraded. They got one of the worst bench productions in the league. Number two, their league guard situation is still a question. They got a guy in Devin Booker, and not just Devin Booker, but Bradley Beal, who play better off the basketball, which is what we saw last night. We saw Devin Booker playing better off the basketball. When he plays off the ball and you're setting him up to get him buckets, how much better he is, which is what he is, which is a two guard. Now, as far as them playing against Minnesota, Nurkic as a glass cleaner, I'll definitely give you that. 100%. He's a glass cleaner, but so is Rudy, so is Naz Reid. So the fact that they can't jump Rudy like they did Joker is completely different. So if this battle between those two is going to come down to two things, it's going to come down to who can get the most stops, right? Whoever can get the most stops is going to win, and I think that Minnesota could get more stops than Phoenix can. I think they beat them in 6 games.
So, that's where I disagree. I don't think the offense with the Minnesota Timberwolves is as potent. So, even though the Suns' defense isn't great, I do think they have some personnel to be able to make it harder for those guys, for the offense to not be successful. And then in terms of the Suns upgrading, like I said, Bradley Beal being there over CP3 is an upgrade. Grayson Allen being the elite three-point shooter that he's there apart from Josh Okogie is an upgrade. Royce O'Neal, Eric Gordon being there over Cameron Payne is an upgrade. So they're an upgrade.
And by the way, Dub, they're at the bottom of the league in production off the bench, but keep going.
It's still an upgrade nonetheless. What's it called? And then even some of the size that they've had, like I know people go and probably scoff at some of the Bowl minutes or even Eubanks, but having some size down there where you can have so much good offense in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and KD. And for a guy like Rudy Gobert, you have a 6'10" guy, you have a 7-foot guy that can sit here and at least challenge the boards. So Rudy's not just dominating the whole entire time. What's it called? I think that offense is good enough to have those players out on the court, give Nurkic some rest, and for them to be able to get it over the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Shooting is the key part here, and I think the offense with the Suns is just tremendous, especially when they have everything going, and that's something that the Minnesota Timberwolves won't be able to match, especially if they start doing KD at the 5 lineups where they're sitting here getting things going, getting Rudy in space. Yeah, good. God bless. Or even Mike Conley. Mike Conley on that too, right?
Lineups might be. Is that scary for the Wolves? Chill.
Is what scary for the Wolves?
KD at the 5. Does that work?
Sure it is. Sure it is, because what you do is you dragging Rudy away from the basket and you dragging him out to the deep end of the water. So anybody covering KD that far away from the basket, I don't care who it is, whether you're at the 1 or you're at the 5 or you're at the 2, you're in trouble having to deal with him 100%. But I think that they can supplement that with
KD at the 5. Chilltown. Rudy can't play in that matchup in that lineup.
That's the point that I was making. The fact that him dragging him away from the basket like he does, right? That's definitely scary. But what Minnesota does is the same thing that Denver did. Rudy running the floor, getting easy baskets, putting KD in precarious situations where he's having to cover bigs underneath the basket and getting him in foul trouble, as opposed to just letting him off the hook. Denver didn't let him off the hook in the playoffs last year. He got switched on to he ended up getting switched on to Joker. With him getting switched on to Joker was burying him underneath the basket. So when you do stuff
Jokic
like that,
and compare him to Rudy is a terrible offense. He can't even do that. He can't make them pay.
Actually, he can. Mars, what did I say yesterday about the Minnesota Timberwolves?
We need to please stop with this Rudy Gobert offense.
No, my thing, Chill, is I agree with that point most of the time. But we're talking about Kevin Durant minutes at the 5. Rudy has to sit down. We're not just gonna like in that particular lineup when KD's at the 5. That's not time to rim run with Rudy. That's time to sit his ass down and get some rest, big fella.
The worst thing in this situation for the Wolves is literally not having Cat for multiple reasons. It obviously he's an all-star, he's a great player, he's a stretch big, but if they do something like that, Cat could possibly sustain that. They could weather the storm with Cat. With Rudy, is Cat
going to be able to play in that series?
No.
Would it be first round?
I think it would be first round.
Yeah.
But again,
if they had Cat, I would be more worried. I will say that if they had Cat, a guy that can be down there, I would be more worried. 1,000%.
KD's production is something that you're going to have to eat. It doesn't make a difference whether he's on the block, whether he's on the wing, whoever he's covering, whoever he gets switched on. You're going to have to eat 27. You're going to have to eat 24. That's just how it is. Focus, Dub. You're going to have to eat that.
This guy's crazy.
That's just how it is. So, with that being said, how do you supplement
that's not even that crazy. All he said is you got to eat 27.
How do you supplement that? You supplement that, and I don't understand why I'm being ridiculous when I say that a big man dive into the basket who doesn't have to be Hakeem Olajuwon, who doesn't have to be great on the block. If you implement him more in the offense, it's like I told you yesterday, Mars, with how Cleveland gets Jared Allen involved in the offense, you could do the same thing with Rudy, the way he dives, the way he's around the basket. Well, sure, he doesn't have to touch his Jared Allen. Well, maybe he doesn't have to touch at the mid-range, but in the mid-post, he's actually a lot better than you give him credit for. And those 5, 6, 7 touches, those 4 or 5 more buckets, how much better that is for Minnesota if they did that more, but they don't. And I don't understand why.
Hey, Minnesota, if you want to go home in round 1, give Rudy post touches, man. If you want to go home in round 1.
I like not post touches, Mars. I think the thing you're missing, this is what you're missing. You think I'm thinking, come down, throw the ball in the post to Rudy.
No, you're saying when he has a mismatch.
And not only
there's no such thing as a mismatch with Rudy. He can't punish anyone.
It's not only a mismatch, Mars. I'm looking at when he dives to the basket and he's wide open and they miss him. How many times they miss him?
If he's wide open, yeah, give him the ball. I agree with that.
But they don't do that.
That's true. I agree with that.
They don't do that. And because they don't do that, how much better their offense would be if they did. how much more he would open up their offense, because now you would have to collapse your defense.
They're not going to start doing that.
But to be fair,
that can't just magically start happening.
To be fair, we understand how rhythm and trust and chemistry matters in basketball. I can understand a team not looking for somebody because we do not trust you. If you see a guy wide open at the 3-point line, but you know they're not good at shooting, even when they're open, you're not looking for that guy to be open because that's not one of the options that you're looking for. So even though there are moments where Rudy does have that, I can understand why they're missing those reads, because it's like, bro, we have no faith or trust in your offensive game to be keying you out and looking for you as an option. You understand?
I do understand that. That would make sense, Dub. But the problem with your long ball logic is a guy who can't shoot the long ball. Rudy shoots 65% around the rim. So
I'm not gonna lie, 65% is not very good for what he does. Respectfully, I'm sorry, 65%, is that it? All he does is touch lobs and get put back to the 65%.
He shoots 60. He shoots.
DeAndre wasn't DeAndre Jordan shooting like 70?
I ain't gonna lie, Rudy. 65% is not very good, Rudy.
What should it be? Should it be 80%, Mars? I mean,
with his short diet, with the looks he gets,
what does
Rudy more than 65? That's what I'm saying.
I hear what Mars is saying. He's saying to cash in more on those looks, because these are such easy quality looks that he's getting on some putbacks, easy lobs. That 65 is kind of like, yo, you could do much more better than that. 66, you could do much more better than that. But even then, like, even though he's 65, it's not just about numbers. Like the way these are getting, he's getting these 65 off of.
Rudy, he's getting them. Rudy Gobert shoots 51% on layups. That's terrible.
He shoots what?
51% on layups.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good off
criminal.
that. Yeah, I'm good off that. I'm not feeding him.
He shoots 47% on tip-ins.
Sure, I'm not feeding him. I'm not feeding him.
If Rudy Gobert is diving to the rim and he's open, he has a mismatch, we should give him the ball, right? That's cool. Open, yes. I'm with that. But this is my only thing. I'm only specifically talking about this matchup with the Suns and Kevin Durant minutes and stuff like that. Yeah, we got you typically do got to eat 22, 25, 26 from Kevin Durant, but if it's Rudy Gobert minutes, we don't want to eat 45. You know what I mean? Like, just put I think it's fine in certain circumstances to take your big man off the floor. Like, we're not going to be able to match Kevin Durant's production with Rudy Gobert getting dumped down points. Like, if we're playing other teams, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm good with Rudy getting the ball in certain circumstances. But in this one, I think we're just better.
And I'm not concerned with Rudy Gobert covering Kevin Durant for the majority of the game. That's not going to happen. Kevin Durant's going to be covered by Jaden McDaniels. So they're not going to have Rudy Gobert on him for the entire game. Sure, when he gets switched on to him from time to time, that may happen. But it's not like that's his primary matchup. No.
But if they're running KD at the 5 lineups, there's no other option besides him having to guard that. And if they don't have the reason why this could work more against the Timberwolves than the Nuggets is because the Nuggets actually have the personnel to capitalize off of the size. Minnesota, I don't think with Rudy Gobert post-ups is going to be able to capitalize on that, and they'll still be able to run it up with KD at the 5. So they could have a 5-minute run of KD at the 5 and then just running
They'll
up
probably
the score.
Close games of KD at the 5, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Rudy just wouldn't be able to close. That's what I assume would happen. But yeah, if you want to give Rudy the ball offensively, go for it.
I think it's going to be a struggle for Rudy just in general against.
I'm clearly out the loop when it comes to this, and this I don't know what.
I think you just like bigs, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I love big men.
Yeah, you love big men. That's what. Pause.
But
no,
like,
did he?
Focus, Miles.
Like, no. But like when it comes to centers, you like centers. It's cool.
But the thing I'm thinking about how they're used. All big men aren't used the same way, and I don't look at all big men the same way.
Because their skill sets are different.
Right. All big men are this. I'm clearly missing something, because when I see a big man dive into the basket who shoots like he does around the basket, I'm thinking to myself, he's wide open. Hit him.
I think everyone agrees. If Rudy's wide open under the rim,
he's wide open.
Throw the lob or give him the lay down pass, he can dunk it. 90% on dunks. Give him that. You make him finish around anyone, he's bad. Like he's just bad. I
understand,
bad, but he's bad.
I'm clearly missing something, man.
I understand.
No, I 51% on layups.
I understand it because theoretically, right? Like off of like this logic that you have, it should work, and I understand why you think it should work. It's just that personnel with Rudy Gobert, it's just extremely bad.
If Rudy Gobert was DeAndre Ayton, it would work. And I don't like DeAndre Ayton.
Maybe it would.
If Rudy Gobert was DeAndre Ayton, it would work.
Buddy,
someone with
some
offensive.
Yo, this dude in the chat, buddy, you a sucker, yo. For real, man. You're the epitome of a sucker. I swear. Go ahead, bro. I mean, go ahead, Mars. This dude's such a sucker.
Name names, man. Name names.
Buddy, that's his name. He's a sucker, man.
But
he epitome of a sucker.
Yeah,
yo.
we still got true verse, buddy. He's a
sucker, yo. I swear he ain't nothing, but he's nothing but a sucker, yo. That's all he is. He's nothing but a sucker. And what he does is he does this right here with a bunch of laughs, like a 15-year-old. You a sucker, dude. I listen to your basketball logic, and there's none. There is nothing there. All you do is talk about how my logic is flawed when you have none. You're a sucker, yo. I swear. Everything about you is suckerish. Everything. You ain't nothing but a sucker. Looking for a rise out of somebody. That's what trolls do. You don't even hear to talk basketball, sucker ass dude. Go ahead, Mars, like you were saying. This nigga's a sucker, man. I swear he is. I understand why people block him and tell him to get out of their chat, because you're a sucker. That's what he is, yo. I understand that.
I got a super chat from SMN RNDM. He says CP3 is a better facilitator than Beal. Yeah, Beal's a better player, but they need CP3 to carry and play make more than they need a scorer. KD and D-Book is enough.
Yeah, maybe CP3 5 years ago.
Chris Paul don't even play make no more. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
That man Chris Paul would just be giving the ball to TJD and hoping he can make a layup. That's what he be doing. He don't be doing.
Yo, this version of Bradley Beal compared to this version of Chris Paul, there is no comparison.
In real life too.
Sucker. There's no comparison.
yeah. Bradley Beal's still an upgrade.
Yeah,
the playmaking of CP3.
How though, Dub? But how though, Dub? Because it's a difference between the dude. Now, are you saying Bradley Beal is an upgrade today? Or is Bradley? Okay, all right, I could give.
Not prime.
Not even like
Chris
Paul. No, not 10 years.
Not even 2021 CP3 to me, but
like 2020, like let's say 2 years ago.
Before Chris Paul's birthday that hit in the 2022 playoffs.
Yeah, it was so crazy, bro. It was so wild to me, Mars, how I was, because I remember I was, CP3 going to, I don't know if you was watching PC at the time, but CP3 going to the finals, bro. I was hyped. I was ready. I was like, yo, let's hope he can get this ring. He couldn't. I'm like, dang, it's okay. They can still figure some things out. The contract extension was crazy to me, but I seen that he was still playing well, so it was okay. But then that next season, bro, I don't know what the hell happened, but this guy just fell off a cliff. It was crazy. Like the numbers was still okay, but his whole athleticism was gone. And I was like, what the hell what happened? I was confused. Like, I don't understand how from 1 year you go, like, you just dipped, bro. Dipped crazy. I still don't understand.
No, it's hilarious. Crazy. Like you look at Chris Paul, like the 2022 player. Chris Paul was doing his thing. He was hooping against the Pelicans. I know everyone remembers.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then like they were praising Chris Paul. He doesn't turn the ball over. The whole playoffs before his birthday hit, 13 turnovers. That's how many he had. His birthday hits. He plays 5 games after that. What's this? 9. That's 30. 19 turnovers in 5 games. Like, I don't know what happened. His birthday hit and he just forgot how to play basketball, and he's just been washed ever since.
It's like his birthday was waiting on him.
The craziest piece of father time just hitting. Like, I'd never seen that.
It's like his birthday was waiting on him.
And then his birthday hit 7 turnovers, 4 turnovers, 5 turnovers. What happened?
But you see, so this was the thing that year. CP3 was showing signs of that, like just not being himself all year long. He just had a good Pelican. He just had a really good Pelican series because he was just able to cash in on his jump shots a lot.
Was he a Chris Paul's 3 fella for Cliff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't forget. Yeah, keep going.
No, so his jump shot was hitting. The next series is not hitting. Right. Doesn't know what to do because he can't get rim pressure. So he's like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, yo, it was just bad. It was bad.
That was so crazy. Like his birthday hit and he was just a different player overnight. I was like,
one of the main reasons why we saw him as much as we saw him in that series, well, because Cameron Payne was garbage at the backup lead guard spot. So they ain't get nothing from him. That's why Chris Paul had to play as much as he did. If Cameron Payne would have been better, they could have preserved Chris Paul a little bit more. But the fact that he was as garbage as he was coming off the bench, Chris Paul had to play even more. Now they find themselves in a damn dogfight with them.
Yeah, that was just wild.
Again, pass that, Damo. Pass that.
I will.
Pass that, fam.
All right, y'all. I've been waiting for Damo to get here. Now it's time to get into the title of the show. You guys see the title of the show. Jokic is the best center ever. Now,
what?
I've been seeing some clips. I've been seeing some things. Certain people been saying certain things. Hey, I mean, this is what other people were saying. So I gotta get down to the bottom of this. Okay. Is Jokic the best center all time? I'm gonna play this clip. Y'all let me know if you can hear this. It happens to be on Players Choice's website. I mean, well, social medias. If you're not following, go to Instagram, follow Players Choice Show. Also, go to TikTok and follow Players Choice as well. I'm gonna play this clip. Y'all let me know what you think about it and if you got some logic behind it.
Oh boy,
it's muted, bro.
L guy, hit the unmute button on the bottom right.
Y'all relax. Damn. Give me
and he lagged.
How he hasn't made an all-star team is ridiculous. And we know Jokic might be.
No, Ron, pause it.
The greatest center in the history of the NBA. And that's saying a lot. He might be at the end of his career. He's that good.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
What's up?
I heard a beat in the background. Usually if it's a clip from ESPN, they use beats that are copyrighted. So if you get flagged for it, you can't get any monetization from this.
W-Dub trying to save us. Long story short, the ESPN old guy, I don't know his name, sorry. Said Jokic might end up being the best center of all time when it's all said and done. I'm pretty sure he's the same guy who said Shaq was on the top 5 center.
He absolutely said that, Mars. He didn't sort of kind of say he absolutely said that.
So do I really care about what he says?
No.
He essentially said he's taking Jokic over Shaq with the money on the line.
He said Moses Malone over Shaq too. This is crazy.
I heard that. I was like, all right, okay.
We're talking about Jokic versus Shaq, though.
And this
with,
is what
with money on the line.
When old heads say stuff like that, it just makes it look so bad. And it's like I'm lumped into
that. Is anybody up here taking Jokic over Shaq?
See, the free throw line, yeah, I'll take him at the free throw line.
This is the thing, right? If this was like a younger guy, or not even younger, just a guy that values like era evolution and everything like that, I can understand why somebody could think that. But this is Mad Dog. He's a guy that still thinks like Bill Russell and Will are like this, like better than Shaq. Moses is better than Shaq. So he doesn't have that mindset. So in my head, I'm confused here because I'm like, all right, you're not a guy that talks about like the era evolution of the game. So for him to be bigger than this, so it doesn't make sense to me how Jokic is number one for him, or even better than Shaq.
He will be number one. But are we going to talk about what Tony Kukoc said, Ron?
No, hold on. We're going to talk about Damo taking Joker over the Diesel. Why, Damo?
With money on the line.
With money on the line, we got 100 stacks.
I'm about to say if I got a max contract and I got to take either Shaq or Jokic to build my team, and that's the way I perceive the question. Just if I got to build my team, I got one contract to give. Am I giving it to Shaq or Jokic? I'm gonna take Jokic. I feel like you can build it's probably easier to build a team around Jokic. You could build a better team around Jokic. And I think offensively, Jokic is the better player. Obviously, defensively, you could take Shaq, but I like my odds with a Jokic-led team.
Are we talking about?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You weren't finished.
I was just going to finish it up with, honestly, obviously, I don't think Shaq is greater than Jokic. That's a stretch, but I don't think Jokic is greater than Shaq. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say that. I have no problem saying Jokic is a better player than Shaq. I don't think that's crazy to say.
Peak for peak?
I do.
Peak for peak at the peak of their powers.
Yes.
At their very best, I
do think
I don't want to sell Shaq short. I think Jokic is a better basketball player than Shaq, but I do have Shaq rated greater than Jokic. I think that's kind of a stretch.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy, Damo. It's insane.
So in terms of a skill set, I can get with the passing. Even though Shaq was a damn good passer, Shaq was
he won't Jokic.
No, he was not Jokic, and I won't put him in the same category as Jokic. But in terms of a offensive player, in terms of what he can do on the block, in terms of what he can do in the mid post, in terms of what he do in transition, how much better he was how good he was as a ball handler, how dominant he was around the rim. Now the free throw percentage, okay, yeah, I could definitely give it that. I understand that that's bad, but with this, I think that the other stuff makes up for all of that, and the force that he was offensively, I would not. I'm fired if I end up taking Joker over Shaq at the peak of their power. I'm fired for that.
If I'm building this, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the way I look at it is you have an offense. If you want to have talks about Jokic being better offensively than Shaq, I can understand. But when I look at Shaq and Jokic, and then I also look at the defensive end, there's a considerable gap. Is that
only because of the era in which Shaq played it?
So that's what I was also thinking about, Mars. But at the same time, the rim protecting that Shaq can provide is something that Jokic cannot come close to. So that's why in my mind, I'm going to give that to Shaq. And his ability to... The thing
Shaq
is
Shaq is better than Shaq.
Shaq's ability... Yeah, that's crazy. Shaq's ability to slow the game down and force people to play at his pace because of how much of a physical phenom he is something I'm considering. So even though Jokic is probably complete as a offensive player, Shaq's ability to just, you know what? I'm gonna get this guy in foul trouble, bro. I'm gonna just get in the post, slow the game down. They hit a three, it's cool. I'm gonna get the ball here, do a drop step, dunk. That's like I don't know how can you even do that without like your best players getting fouled out? So that's why to me, I can understand the combo, but I'm definitely going to give it to Shaq for sure. You're muted. You're muted.
My fault. Can I ask right now? Can anybody tell me what is the go-to way to take Jokic out the game?
The go-to way to take Jokic out the game.
Yeah. What's the game plan to take Jokic out the game?
I haven't figured it.
I see where you're going with this, though.
I actually think it's the flip side. In fact, you want to make Joker the game. And what I mean when I say Joker the game, slow everybody else down and make Joker the guy. Make Joker go for 40. Make him go for 50. As opposed to Shaq, you don't want to do that with him because Shaq will score 100.
Mm-hmm. You got to get, in my mind, you have to get a big on him, an athletic big as well. Somebody that can't get taken advantage of like Jack Landale and other guys were doing. And then you have some other roaming help as well. That's it.
Chill on my players.
And also, in this scenario, what era of basketball are we playing in? Are we playing today?
Just in their era. So Shaq
in there, so just comparably to them. Right. Okay,
I'm doing both. I'm looking at it from them in both eras, and I'm just looking at it like that. I think Jokic right now does benefit a bit more that he doesn't have to go up as much like bigger bodies as Shaq did back then. And I don't see him having the same impact like back in the 2000s because it wasn't as much of movement in DHOs that they do have now. So I'm trying to do it both and be consistent. Jokic is still going to be great in the post no matter what. But I'm looking at it as both. I think Shaq is more portable across like both eras in my mind.
Again, the only reason I asked is because the way I was looking at it, I wasn't just P for P, who's better, and that's what I'm taking. I was thinking again, who would I rather build a team around? Who would I rather give my money to? With the money online, who am I giving money to be on my team? And if I'm thinking we're putting a more reach, I think Jokic's game is portable in both eras. I think it's the inverse. I think it's the inverse, though. I think his game is more portable in both eras compared to a guy like Shaq. For me, it comes down to when we get to the nitty-gritty of things, there is a weakness Shaq has that can be exploited that teams have tried to exploit. That's why I asked y'all, what is the way we could shut down a Jokic? How do you stop Jokic? What's the game plan for Jokic? There is no game
about foul shot. Are you talking about foul shots for Shaq?
Honestly, that shit is crazy.
I mean, that would become a major issue in today's
game. And that's why I'm asking. If we're playing in today's game where you have the hack of Shaq, and we're playing with a bunch of mobile bigs and a guy like Shaq, he's not guarding a bunch of bigs that's going to let him hover around the paint to take advantage of the rim protection advantage he has on Jokic. If he's playing against a bunch of bigs that's about to drag his big ass out, all right, so now we got to adjust how we're doing the team. Now I have to readjust how I configure my team to get me another backside rim protector because Shaq going to
But
step
that's what you
away,
do with
or now we
Jokic
gotta keep
too.
you from the zone.
But
No,
that's
you
what
don't.
you that's what you do with that Jokic too. Those same flaws that you're talking about with Shaq, that same thing that we have to do for Jokic as well. Like the Aaron Gordon and the perimeter defense that they have going on, they do everything they can to shield and protect Jokic, which is why like Jokic is always in PNR actions because teams are looking to take advantage of them. But the Nuggets does a phenomenal job
How
of
do you
rotating.
protect Shaq from the free throw line?
You
But
don't.
this is what I was gonna say, Mars. So I hear that point about the free throw line, but what I do also consider is, like, especially in today's era where fouls are more like you get called for more fouls, people are gonna have to be fouling out with Shaq, and you're gonna have to sacrifice bodies that can hurt your defense or offense just for fouling Shaq.
That's what they did in the 2000s. They just had bigs on the bench.
But I think in the postseason now. But I think in the postseason, it didn't work, one. And two, Mars, like in the postseason now where guys are mainly only running 7 or 8 man lineups, and that's it. Like you need those 8 guys very much right now. So in my head, I'm like, I have to bring in trash players just to foul him, which can mess up my offense. I think it's gonna be a lot to deal with in the game plan for just to contain this physical phenom. You feel me? And even then, he's gonna get a lot more foul calls now than he did back then because they
got a lot more offense.
I'm about to say, you don't think he's going to get a lot more offensive foul calls the way he was doing his post?
They don't call it for Giannis. If they're not calling it for
Giannis, because Giannis is 300
I think
pounds.
I think Giannis is second in the league in offensive fouls.
Yeah, but they don't
Giannis
call it
is
enough. He
300
offensive
pounds.
foul every single play.
Again, and it's the same reason why LeBron has to flop to get foul calls, because the bigger you are, the more they let go by, the more they let people hit you, because it doesn't look as damaging as a little guy. Well, the inverse is possible on offensive end. If you're a bigger dude throwing your weight around, throwing your size around, you are definitely more susceptible to an offensive call, especially in today's game compared to a guy like Giannis.
They don't call it on Jokic. They don't call it on Jokic and Joel. And Jokic and Joel are down there doing that. So
but them dudes is not nearly as
I'm not necessarily saying they are, but when I see Jokic put his shoulder in people's chin, they're not calling that. When we talk about things like this, I would like to talk about straight matchups, direct matchups. Shaq and Jokic playing each other. And we're talking about we're not talking about 2009, 2008 version of Shaq. We're talking about 2000, 2001. Shaq was not slow. Shaq was not just some big uncoordinated whatever it seems like we're talking about here. Like in Jokic isn't faster than Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see where this mismatch is. I'm like when we're on the other end, how are we working? Jokic has to work a lot more in the offense to get stuff off against Shaq. Whereas on the other end, we're just getting the mid-post Shaq, dumping the ball down, and go to work. There's nothing Jokic could do. Shaq, so what I'm saying is Shaq is guarding Jokic far better than he's guarding Shaq. And then I just like to keep it simple like that. You know what I mean? So
neither one of them's guarding each other.
I'm about to say, I don't know where that came from.
It came from observation, Damo. I just think Shaq guards Jokic a lot better than Jokic guards.
I'm saying the thought that people were trying to make it seem like Shaq wasn't some sort of level of player to big up Jokic in a matchup. I specifically didn't put them in a matchup head to head to compare them head on for that reason, because I think both of them are great. So when you were explaining, I'm like, I don't know if something maybe was said before, but I don't know who had a bad matchup.
To Bob's point, I actually like Shaq guarding Joker a little bit on the perimeter than I like Joker having to deal with Shaq on the box.
I agree.
Easy.
Shaq see Jokic running that inverted pick and roll.
Yeah, he's cooked there. That is true. He's cooked there. But we're thinking about one-on-one. We're thinking about one-on-one.
Well, one-on-one, sure, yeah.
And to Damo's point, like you just talked about, Damo, in terms of what are we going to do to slow him down? Well, again, one, this is what bigs did, like Shaq, Lajuan, Ewing. One of the things that they did was they ran the floor. With them running the floor, Anthony Davis tried to do that last year, but he didn't do it nearly as much as he should have. Shaq did that a lot with Olajuwon. Olajuwon did that a lot with Shaq, running the floor, getting this dude involved in making this dude get back in transition. I don't think Anthony Davis did that as much as he could have done it. And
has anybody done that?
Jokic run. Like,
I'm gonna say,
and don't get me wrong.
Are we still doing this where these bigs will beat Jokic on the floor, and then every
I think he's gotten in better shape, Mars. I won't argue that. He's definitely gotten in better shape. But I don't think that the game the game was fast enough. And again, I'm reaching for straws here to find out how do we slow Joker. I'm reaching for straws here how to slow Joker down. Okay, one of the ways that we can possibly slow him down is we got to get up and down the floor. Because this dude is responsible so much for them offensively. If we can run him and maybe tire him out and wear on him, when you get him in the post, beat up on him, run him, get him up and down the floor, and on offense, make it about him. Don't make it about everybody else. Because even when Joker has a favorable one-on-one matchup, he's still looking to distribute. He's still looking for cutters. He's still looking for guys open on the long ball line. So make it about him. So if you can do that, plus run him, maybe we got a shot.
So I think one of the biggest points is really what Bob said about the offensive calls. Like, a lot more times people are getting offensive calls, specifically Giannis, because of the charging that he's always doing and dropping his shoulder. But when you're banging down low and just sitting here trying to get to your spot, I don't see as much offensive calls happening. So I don't think the offensive foul calls is going to be as prevalent with Shaq. But then to Chilltown, what he was saying before, there's no answer for either one of them. Like foul line for Shaq, cool. But you cannot stop either of these guys. Because guess what? If you start fouling Shaq, you know what you do? You slow down the momentum. You know what you do? You slow down the game,
right,
which that is exactly what he wants, because they don't want you guys running up the score. They don't want you guys getting these threes off and getting momentum. You slow the game down. So even though that they're fouling Shaq, it also hurts their offense a bit because they're not getting in transition as much. So that's why it's a good question. I'm siding with Shaq because of all of those things. You can slow the game down. The answer to stop you is to slow the game down. You have better defense. And bro, like Bob said, all you have to do, you don't have to do anything crazy. Yo, bro, four out, one in. Yo, Shaq, go tear that matchup up, man. They're going to foul you or they're going to slow the game down, and we straight off that. And you're a good enough passer to pass off out of a double team. So we straight.
Genuinely, again, and I'm not trying. Look, Shaq is the reason I'm a Laker fan. Like I promise you, I'm not trying to disrespect Shaq when I say these things or have this take. All the things y'all are saying that'll make the game great, like slow the game down, it'll be great for Shaq. That works for Shaq. Jokic wants you to slow the game. Jokic wants the game to get slowed down. Like literally anything you can say is an advantage of Shaq in terms of slowing the game down, how we're going to play. Jokic is going to do that now. And a lot of the reactions I have is coming from seeing people in the chat say whatever they're going to say. Please stop telling me to do what we did in 2020 going into 2024, well, in 2024 and proceeding into 2025. If y'all about to tell me that y'all genuinely think this is the same Jokic that was there in the bubble, then all right, bro, that's just, there is no getting better. Another thing, I would just hope some people would just say, y'all just like Shaq more. Just say, Shaq is so great to me because I just like Shaq more. Because I'm seeing some people give reasons and y'all not even making sense. Like at this point, now I'm starting to realize there is nothing Jokic can do to be better than Shaq. He can't be greater than Shaq. So we shouldn't even have this convo.
Do you think that's what we're saying here?
I'm not saying that's what y'all saying. Again, I am looking at certain reactions and certain people say certain things in the chat. That is who that's for. Y'all up here, cool. I get what y'all saying. Straight. I just feel, again, the way I presented the argument was, who are you building with? What era we're playing in matters a lot to me. If we're playing in an older era, I think it's a lot more close, and I have a lot more confidence probably putting the Shaq. But in today's era, if Shaq is the only big from yesteryear in today's game, and it's still today's era of bigs, I don't think it's just going to be a seamless transition all the way around. Offensively, I think, yes, Shaq is still going to be able to be damn near a guaranteed bucket unless you have to foul him, which will change how you construct teams, and teams will revert to doing what they did in yesteryear, which is, all right, we just need bodies to put on him.
Right.
But I do think when Shaq has to guard some of these bigs defensively, with the areas and spaces he's going to have to play defense in, it is something he did not normally have to do. And the guys he did guard that did those things, he struggled against. Yes. Why are we acting like he didn't struggle against Greg Oshitag? And who the hell is Greg Oshitag compared to Jokic?
Big country. Big country.
Wrong white big, but we got the point.
Yeah, I said Greg Oshitag. Like
I was looking like Greg Oshitag.
I really don't know why I thought Greg Oshitag. Big country gave Shaq problems. And if we're going to act like Jokic is not Super Saiyan version of what some of big
It's
he
funny
lagged?
too. He just
Not
like
Shaq. We
yeah,
just
he's still
hey,
there. He's
none
still
of the
there.
bad. We getting Shaq with none of the bad, all of the good now. And I didn't know that's what we was doing. I didn't know I was getting the best version of Shaq.
Well,
I thought
Damo,
I was getting Shaq. I didn't know I was getting the imperfect version
Oh,
of Shaq.
Super Shaq.
I
You
thought I
want
was
Super
getting
Shaq?
Shaq.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know I was
No,
getting
Damo.
Shaq with no flaws or no errors. I thought we was just getting Shaq. But cool. I realized we got the Jokic I see now, which apparently can be outran by people, but people hasn't outran him. The guy that, you just need Dwight Howard and another big to stop him like you did in 2020, even though his last 2 times won an MVP and when he won a championship, no one could do that with 2 bigs or anything. But that Jokic is who we're putting up against the almighty Shaq.
Well,
My
that's
bad.
if you're talking to the chat, I get what you're saying. I'm saying 2023 version, 2023 Nikola Jokic, 2000. We can go 1998, 1999, 2000 Shaq. Well, I think Shaq clears, but that's just, you know what I'm saying. I'm not talking about big slow Shaq. I'm talking about run the floor, move your feet Shaq.
Damo,
Which
you
he
know
was
that.
doing.
Damo,
You know
you
what
know
I'm saying?
that.
Which Shaq can move laterally. He could, he
He
could
can.
do everything. Shaq was a hell of an athlete, especially for his size. And that's all I'm saying.
How do you
and
feel
if we-
about
and if-
Shaq's
and if
effort
we-
on
and if-
defense?
So Mars, I'm glad you
It
said that,
depends.
right?
I think he was a really good defender too.
No,
But
so
do you
I'm
think
glad.
his effort was consistent.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. So Mars, that's where I think that's key here, right? In terms of Shaq's effort, because what Bob is saying isn't wrong. He's athletically capable enough to be able to maneuver and rotate well. The issue is if he's going to have that willingness, because he himself even states now, why aren't you just letting the guard fight over the screen? It's crazy. Like, it's crazy that he still thinks that. But in my mind, my whole thing is that issue right there is an issue that Jokic also falls under. So it kind of negates each other for me, you know?
I guess, like, I think peak Shaq, to me, I think I've said this before. Other than MJ and LeBron, there's no one I'm taking over peak Shaq. I've said that. I've said that many times. But if you're doing the era thing where they both play in today's game, I think the conversation becomes very interesting. Not because I think Jokic is a better defender than Shaq. I don't. But I think Shaq's defense would get put a lot more under the microscope if he had to play defense the way these bigs today do. I watched Mike Bibby give him hell. Just because he was able to pull up off a pick and roll. And Shaq just wouldn't play high. I watched Mike Bibby destroy him. And that series was extended because of that. I've watched Ray Allen give him hell. Now it's Ray Allen, but I've watched Ray Allen coming off screens and Shaq won't do anything because he doesn't want to leave the lane. That's just what Shaq was. So you put him in today's game where everyone's taking pull-up threes and everyone's trying to get open on the perimeter and he won't leave the lane. And then when he does leave the lane, it's with very lackluster effort. He's not really trying to close out to anyone. You get a defensive big who leaves a lot to be desired on the outside. Now, rim protection and rim deterrence, fantastic. Like, Shaq would have people just not taking layups because they don't want to get hit by Shaq. Like, they just would rather pass the ball to someone else because they don't want to get hit by him. So that's something Jokic can never match. Jokic can't provide that level of rim protection. But then I look, the free throws for me are a big deal. I've said it before. In the 2000s, it wasn't as big of a problem because offenses all around were just less efficient. So Shaq's free throws weren't a detriment. But like if you look at Shaq in the 2000 playoffs, shooting 45.6%, I think it was, from the free throw line, the worst half-court offense in the league this season gets 0.95 points per possession. Shaq's free throws are less efficient than the Memphis Grizzlies in the half-court. That's a detriment. Like, that's just how I'm viewing it. You got someone shooting 46% from the line. That's terrible offense. Even if it slows the game down, there's not many teams with a hardcore offense that's going to be worse than Shaq shooting free throws in his peak, let alone playing against the good hardcore offenses who are getting 1.1 points per possession, 1.08. That's just where Shaq starts bleeding value. So you got the free throws, defending in space, and then I think overall, you obviously got the craziest mismatch down low. You can't switch with Shaq. Like the way teams want to be switching now, just switch everything. Shaq is punishing every mismatch. Even the centers are mismatches, but Shaq's punishing all those mismatches.
Can you imagine Damian Lillard trying to
switch
like
that there you can't do. So like switching would not be allowed against Shaq. That's something you can't do. But I watched the Nuggets and I'm like, when they switch on Jokic, he's still punishing mismatches. So like the advantages that Shaq has, even though he might be better than Jokic in those areas, Jokic is still dominant in those areas himself without having the flaws of the free throw shooting offensively. And then defensively, I think you'd have to value Shaq's rim protection very highly to say Shaq just clears. Now, I think it's close in today's game. I'd probably lean Shaq just because of the mismatch he is in terms of what defenses can do. And the fact that I think it's a big deal that Shaq would get big men who wouldn't normally be employed. He would get them employed. Zach Edey would damn near be a lottery pick if Shaq was in the NBA right now. 100%. Just because he's 7'4", 300, that's a Shaq matchup. Like, that's what he would be. That right there is a big deal to me. There's 15 roster spots. If you have to use 2 or 3 of them just for Shaq defense, that's impact. So for me, I would probably go with Shaq, but I do think it's close, especially if you do them both in today's game. Now, relative to that time, I think Shaq's the 3rd best player ever at his best. 2000 Shaq, only trails between MJ and LeBron. To me, that's it. That's how great I think.
Which LeBron? I was had a conversation about peak
for
LeBron
me, it's
in
LeBron.
2013.
For me,
but
it's
which,
2013.
Oh wait, you do 3. You do 3.
Well, if I wanted to do 1 year, it'd be 2013. If I wanted to do 3 years, it would be 12 to 14. Those years.
2013 LeBron over peak Shaq, like the one that won against San Antonio.
Yes.
Nah, I'm picking Shaq.
Mark, you think that Bron was better than the Cleveland Bron when he went back?
Yes, because I'm very high on Miami LeBron's defense. Offensively, I think Cleveland LeBron is the best he ever was.
Okay.
Second time. I think that LeBron has 20 years. You got peak athletic LeBron is like 09, 2010. Never seen anything like that in my life. That's the peak
That was
athletic.
crazy.
then Miami Bron 2012, but disregard 2011 a little bit. 2012 is when he started adding the post game. So 2012 to 2014 is when I think his defense was at its absolute apex. Then offensively, I think he was figuring things out. The post game was coming along. He could finally shoot going right. He was leveling up. Cleveland LeBron 16, leave out 2015. 2015 LeBron is an imposter. That's not real LeBron. But 2016, 17, 18, that's when I think his offense peaked. His IQ for the game, his playmaking, his decision making. Then the jump shot was even better in my opinion, even though the 3-point percentage was down. But if you watch him, much more consistent jump shooter, much more confident in his jump shot. Cleveland LeBron is peak like offensive LeBron. And then like 2020 LeBron is peak IQ LeBron, in my opinion. That's where he was just the smartest. Like he could break down any team, any game plan, any coverage. That's where he was at his smartest, in my opinion. Well, I think he's still smart now, but I think that's when he was still at a level good enough athletically and defensively to still leverage that to be the best player in the world. So that's like 4 versions of LeBron, which are all like borderline top 10, top 15 players ever. Just that version. That's how he's.
We can have a conversation, Dub, about 2000 Diesel in 2013 games, and the 2000 Shaq won. He was in the best shape of his career. That was probably the best version of him defensively, not just defensively. He was a lot smarter. That was the first time he had gotten involved in the triangle offense. He had never been involved in anything like that. However, 13 James, how much he changed with the game. The game still was the same in 2000 with Shaq. It still was a big man game. The offense still ran through Shaq. Even though the triangle offense was something new for him, it still was around. And it was still something that he got accustomed to. As opposed to James, now the long ball is now in the game. Long ball being in the game, I got to put this now more in my game. Not only did he put it in his game, he excelled at it. In fact, I think he shot 40% on the long ball that year, and that was one of his. I think that was one of his highest years, with the exception of this year, shooting the long ball. So when you add that into him also being elite as a defender, I think that with the exception of 2009, I think that might have been 2009 and 2017. Those are the 2 years that I'm thinking are some of the best defensive years of James. But if I'm talking about the two guys, I think 13 James. I don't think he clears Diesel, but I do think that he's ahead of him.
So the way I look at it is, and I even think you brought it up, how Shaq finished like second in DPOY that year, right?
Yes, he did.
So like we have a Shaq who's performing that highly in terms of a defender. Him being such a mismatch as an offensive player. Now, if you want to say LeBron's more complete, I understand that. But even though he had the shooting surge that year in the postseason, it definitely retracted back to what we were normally used to seeing with LeBron James. So I have a guy who are offensively, his offense isn't as potent as a Shaquille O'Neal. And even though he's probably, you could say he's a better defender, Shaq is a great defender in his own right in that year specifically. And I think in the year 2000, I mean, he's just giving everyone 30 and 30 and 30 and 30. Just everyone in the postseason, right?
So he ain't give Arvidas Sabonis.
All right. So when I'm thinking about 2000 Shaq and 2013 LeBron, I think having a juggernaut of a weapon in Shaquille O'Neal, who can pass out of double team, who has tremendous gravity, who's one of the most dominant forces in NBA history, probably the most, not even one, the most dominant force in NBA history, along with playing at a all-NBA, first team all-NBA defense caliber level. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why I should go with anyone else.
So you think he's the best, Pete?
So to counter your point,
the MJ and between MJ and Shaq,
yeah,
it's very debatable.
1 year, 1 year. So 2000 Shaq, just 1 year,
bro. 1 year, bro. Like my whole thing is having such a cheat code of a juggernaut force in Shaq. It's just disgusting to me.
Just so you know, Dub.
Just
so you know, Dub. All of those points that you made about Shaq in 2000. I don't know if you noticed, but James finished second in Defensive Player of the Year that year, too. So he was also playing at an elite defensive. He was also playing at an elite defensive level.
Who was better offensively to you, though, Shaq or LeBron?
That year in 13, that's what I'm talking. I think the separator is the fact that I feel like the separator with James is the fact that he implemented the long ball in his game. Not only did he implement the long ball in his game, the fact that he was shooting better in the mid range. When he got that 15, 17 footer down, I thought that's when he became impossible. At that point, Shaq already had to turn around over his left shoulder. He had to turn around over his right shoulder. He had to turn around. He had the jump hook in the mid post. He had the 12 to 14 footer. He could knock that down. He was fantastic in transition. One of the better rim protectors in the game. I actually thought that you can make an argument that he was the defensive player of the year, even though Lonzo Mourning won it. I mean, I thought you could have made a legit case for Shaq being the defensive player of the year that year. But with that being said, I think that the separator with James that year was the fact that the long ball, offensively, the long ball and the mid-range, he could already pass with the best of them. That was not a question. It was the long ball and the mid-range. I feel like that's where the separation came in.
But what value is that if it didn't go in the postseason? It wasn't consistent.
It went in Game 7.
Shut up.
Right.
Yo, I want to bring this back full circle though. I want to bring this back to Jokic and Shaq.
And it worked. It did work in the postseason. I think you looking at the NBA Finals as a whole. I mean, don't get me wrong. He wasn't great.
I was a Heat fan, chill. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. Me being a Heat fan, I didn't even know the numbers, but I remember vividly. I was always afraid of a LeBron jump shot, and even when I went to go double check the numbers, I was rightfully so to be afraid. It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
I think the post game was the bigger deal than the jumper, in my opinion. Because I don't think LeBron was a good. I'm gonna get hated on TikTok for this. I don't think LeBron became a good shooter until Cleveland the second time.
Me too.
I don't care what the percentages in Miami say. If you watch him, that's not a good shooter. The way teams didn't respect him out there, and the way he wasn't entirely comfortable shooting it, he was better than the first time in Cleveland. But that's not a good shooter to me. That's someone who can make shots occasionally. Now I think that's an improvement on what he was, but that's not a good shooter. 16, 17, 18 onwards, that's where LeBron to me became a good shooter. I think he just improved. The post game was the big deal for me.
And now he's better than Steph.
Hey, you see those numbers, man.
But I gotta bring this back full circle though. We got Jokic and we got Shaq. The question that I wanted to ask was, how do you guys see Shaq if you drop him on these Nuggets teams for these last couple years? Do they get a ring last year? Do they get a ring this year? Do you think Shaq is able to carry that team? And I mean, obviously, it's a good team.
Well, the style of play is different. The style is different. The way that they play is predicated on Joker's skill set. Joker being able to knock down the mid-range. Joker being able to knock down the long ball. Joker being able to pass out of not just double teams, but also pick and roll action. And not just pass out of pick and roll, also play off of pick and roll where he's got the basketball and we got inverted pick and rolls between him and Aaron Gordon. They're not doing that with Shaq there. They're doing something completely different with Shaq there. They got a completely different offense where they putting Shaq in the mid post. They putting Shaq on the block. They're running Shaq more. So do they win it? I think that they still got a legit shot at beating the Lakers with Anthony Davis, but I don't think it's a wash like it was last year.
You put that dominant force of Shaquille O'Neal, and you put that dominant force of Shaquille O'Neal on a competent team and the coaching genius of Mike Malone. Yeah, they probably win 2. I would say they're 3-peat, but David Stern ain't around to cheat for him. So probably they probably get two rings for sure.
I think you got to win it last year.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Malone is a basketball genius. You don't have to. You can switch it up. I understand that they won't run the same thing, but coach got to coach, man, and Mike Malone can do that. And I
have been a Michael Malone hater.
I've
since left that behind. Yeah, Michael Malone a good coach.
I don't see any reason why they would lose,
especially on the Nuggets, who's such a strong 3-point shooting team. The only person I'll probably worry about the continuity with is like Aaron Gordon, because I don't know how Aaron Gordon would get maximized as much with Shaq than Jokic, because Jokic and Aaron Gordon play off each other very well. But, with that shooting that they have, I think that's enough. And I do think they win with them. They could run some DHOs with Shaq. I think he's capable of doing that.
I think you got to turn Aaron Gordon more into a mid-post and a mid-range shooter to open up the paint a little bit more. I don't hate it, Mars. He doesn't have to be a knockdown shooter, but I do think that you got to turn him into that a little bit more like a Horace Grant type of offensive player, as opposed to what he's doing with Joker, because what he's doing with Joker, it's a different skill set, and you asking him to do something different there.
But even then, we've seen Shaq, even if it doesn't work out as well, we've seen Shaq being able to handle multiple bodies in the lane. So even if it can't work out as much,
clean up duty, man. Aaron Gordon offensive rebounds.
Aaron Gordon. I believe wholeheartedly that Shaq will be able to deal with the undersized lineups that he's going with now than he did back then, and still being able to feast off of and Aaron Gordon playing off of that. So Shaq is used to playing with a guy that can't stretch the floor like that next to him at the 4. So I have no worries. And with all of that 3-point with all of that 3-point shooting they got.
Yeah, but Shaq, I don't think Shaq's as good of obviously he's not. I don't think he's close to an interior passer that Jokic is, whether that's lobs or laydowns for Aaron Gordon. I don't think he's going to make that connection very often. Also, Shaq, when he's on the right block, not really passing with his left hand. Just putting out there. Just anyone who's just putting out there. Just anyone
with the 2000s.
Just anyone who's interested. When Shaq's on the left block and he's able to post up, and then the double comes, he's able to make that skip pass with his right hand. But when he's on that right block and the double's coming and he has to make the skip with his left hand, you'll notice he's just kicking it back out to the top and they have to swing. Just saying, it's just an observation. He ain't making that skip pass with his left hand. That's not me hating on Shaq. Just an observation. You might want to look into that next time you go watch the Lakers Shaq. Just something to look out for.
So I gotta ask the reverse question. How does Jokic look in the early 2000s with Kobe?
Oh my God, Kobe! Oh my
God. Yeah.
They win 3 straight. They also win the 4th. Shaq, Jokic and Kobe don't fall out. They don't even split up. And they end up winning 10 rings. That's what happens.
Joker in the triangle? Yikes.
Oh my God.
Joker in the triangle?
Crazy.
Jokic
and Kobe?
I ain't even Mars, take Kobe off the table and just Joker in the triangle and all the action going on with Joker in the triangle. What does that look like? So he's got
that might be one of the best offenses we ever seen.
He's playing
Lakers already were with Shaq, but oh my God.
Right. Kobe's playing off of him. He's got Ron Harper over here. He's got Rick Fox. He's got Robert Horry. He's got Derek Fisher. All of this action going on around him. And the passer that he is, right? And the passer that he is, how much better is that unit? Because he's a willing passer. How much better is
but defensively, I mean,
Lakers defense was great.
The rim protection does take a major hit.
Yes, it does. It does.
But offensively, oh my God.
It takes a hit, but I don't think Jokic is. I mean, at least the version of Jokic we're seeing now, Jokic isn't just a cone on defense. I mean, he's not the the way that people talk, I guess, about Luka
I'm
on
not gonna
defense,
lie.
that's not who
No, but
Jokic
at the
is.
rim is still free.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If you get
As a rim protector, cool. I was talking about defense as a whole.
Arvidas
As a rim
Sabonis will
protection,
cook him.
I got you there.
I'm not even gonna lie. Arvidas Sabonis will cook him. I swear he would. He like because you got
Arvidas makes you step out. That's why.
Arvidas will cook. I think, but who else? Who else that they was running again? Tim Duncan's cooking the hell out of him. Like not even a debate.
Did he not cook Shaq?
Who?
Tim Duncan. Duncan
Yeah. That's why I said it's not even the
That's
debate.
because they had the two bigs there.
They're both cooking them.
Old man David Robinson.
Hold on, who's cooking Jokic? Well, I'm not gonna say who's cooking Jokic. That wasn't
Because the thing is, because Jokic, right? He does benefit from the fact that there's a lot of bigs right now that, bam, right? Pretty good offensive. He doesn't have enough size to use his size to take advantage of Jokic. But even then, we see them in the finals cooking the hell out of him. It was crazy. Joel Embiid. Now I get Joel Embiid is unfair because he's a crazy talent, but Joel Embiid cooks the hell out of him every single time they match up with each other, right?
I promise Joel's giving Shaq work. I promise you.
Joel is giving Shaq work as well. So the way I look at it, when you have a lot more bigs that can use their size, similar to how you have your size, and be able to match up with you and body you up offensively and defensively, I do think that's something that Jokic wouldn't. Like defensively, like he's gonna struggle against.
From a strength standpoint, I get it, but in terms of the offensive skill set of those bigs,
yeah, I'm about to say, what bigs are you talking about that is that big? Jokic isn't an
in terms of big and physicality. I think the only two who were like that big and that strong while being that good offensively at that time is Shaq and Tim Duncan. KG wasn't strong enough. Like that, KG was great.
I don't know.
Dirk was a 4. He was
KG would cook him. If Bam cooked him, KG would cook the shit out of him.
But I'm just about the strength part. You said the big and strong, like that's.
Yeah.
Who's
like,
the guy?
The only guys who are that big and that strong were Shaq and Duncan.
So you don't think? I'm not gonna lie. I may be Bob. What Vlade do Divac doing to what Vlade do Divac doing to Jokic, bro?
Now
we have to talk about Tony.
Right quick. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because Tony Kukoc came out with a quote just recently, and he said, despite the statistics, Jokic isn't at that level of Vlade Divac, or Dino at the center position.
Hey, Vlade was nasty in Charlotte too. I'm just saying, like Vlade was cold.
I do think they're good. But come on, what we doing?
Hey, Mars, I'm saying though, like we see Big Country cook Shaq. I think Vlade could cook what's his name? Jokic for sure.
That man Vlade just a flopper, man. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but besides that though, like Vlade would get at him on the block. I'm not saying he's better than Jokic, so y'all just relax for a second. Yeah. But like Vlade was nice, bro. Like, I don't know.
We can give him his flowers without saying that.
There's been like long running jokes about Vlade and stuff like that, but I think that comes from people that really didn't watch Vlade or just really didn't care. Vlade was dope. Vlade was a really good basketball player, and he for sure would have got that Jokic on that block, but he's not. I'm not saying he's better than Jokic.
Rick Smith's getting at him
Vlade
too.
wasn't the best version of Vlade, though, right, Chill?
2000 Rick Smith?
Oh wait.
Vlade was dope, bro. Vlade was dope in Charlotte.
Yeah, he could.
Vlade in Charlotte, I liked him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. King's version of Vlade was good.
I'm not saying dropping 20, but
he was even better on Charlotte and the Lakers.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken,
he was older. He was getting old with us. Like Vlade was nasty, bro.
You think he better than Dino?
Dino was tough.
Yeah, because that's who Tony Kukoc brought up. So Vlade,
he brought them all up, and I'm just saying, like, and then on top of that too, we got to remember a lot of these guys. We've seen them over here. We got to remember how nasty they were over there, like when they was like really young and like in their prime and stuff like that. Specifically Arvidas, Arvidas is.
Yeah, I've seen nothing from Arvidas overseas. Like I've only seen the NBA. So I have no like grasp on how good I just hear stories.
Think Joker, except a better athlete. I know that sounds ridiculous.
So he's better than Jokic. Let's get the clip. Prime Arvidas Sabonis is better than Jokic.
Think Joker, except a better athlete.
I think so. Yes, Mars. I think so.
No way. There's no way.
I don't know.
And he's bigger.
He's
Talking
bigger.
about-
I know he's bigger.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad about the Sabonis one. Sabonis
Ben
one,
Atkins is more of a physical specimen altogether.
You saw burly, heavy Sabonis in Portland. You didn't see mullet. You didn't see mullet
Sabonis.
Yeah, you didn't see that dude in the Olympics. Who I'm looking at this dude destroy David Robinson, and I'm like, wait a minute, how the hell?
I'm about to say before
Can a big man
people
do
get
that?
to shaking their head, before they get to shaking their head and writing it off, they better pull that damn film up.
You watched
Y'all
it?
better pull. Yes,
You
I've
watched
seen it. I've seen it. That's why. Hey, y'all see my face change when he brought up Sabonis. Now the whole Vlade and Dino bullshit. I'm not listening to that when we're talking about Jokic. And I'm not even trying to hear. I'm not even about to say that. I don't want to shit on not giving them their flowers. Giving their flowers, cool. But in this context, I'm not even entertaining none of that shit. But in terms of Sabonis, oh, my face changed. Yeah, that's what. If you'd have said Sabonis,
I haven't watched Prime Sabonis, and I tried to do a job of not talking about people I don't know about. I only know Portland Sabonis. That Portland Sabonis, he ain't touching Jokic. I'm sorry.
Mars, go watch pre-NBA Sabonis. That man was a monster. In terms of the comments that was said, listen, it's hate, and I'm starting to realize something about the old Euros when they talk about the new Euros. It's a lot of hate when they talk about them because these new Euros are getting something the old ones did not get off the gate. They are getting a level of love, respect, and praise that them niggas had to fight a career for. The stuff Tony Parker had to do to get the praise Luka gets now is why he's saying, nah, Dirk, Luka never be like you. Nah, he's never better than Paul. Nah, he's not that. That's why he'll have his comments on Luka. Tony Kukoc was hated by his teammates. Mike and Scotty hated Kukoc. They did not make it easy when Kukoc came over.
And that's
a guy
why
like Wemby comes in the league, and it's easy. A guy like Jokic gets the praise. He's the best center. Now he's seeing all these young Euros get all this praise in a league where out of the top 10, 5 to 6 of them are foreign players, and now I'm seeing a lot of jealousy and envy. Man, I wish I got this love when I came over. That's what it's given to me because this is crazy. The stuff that they're saying doesn't even make sense half the time when they're trying to criticize these younger Euro players. It just
it might not make sense because you don't agree with it, but these dudes are talking about guys they played with, guys they seen play, and all they're simply saying is y'all don't know how good these players were because you don't see them at the level that you're seeing these guys now. You didn't get a chance to see them. So I think they're just trying to let people that don't know. I don't think it's hate because and that's what I'm seeing in the chat a lot right now is they're saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're saying this." But that they don't have no idea. They see how good Jokic is, and they're just like, it's not possible that he could be anywhere close to this good. Well, first you need to go watch, and then you can say that. But that's what we're saying. It's not. I don't think it's. I'm just simply saying I don't think it's hate as much as it's give these guys their respect. I think these older guys are just trying to say, yo, show these dudes that we played with a little bit more love too, because you might not understand that these guys are actually as good as these guys you're seeing now. I think it's as simple as that. Now, you don't agree with it, you call it hate, whatever. I don't think it's hate, and it might sound that way because they're just trying to be maybe brutally honest.
I'm glad you said that, Ox. So you agree that Prime Vlade equally as good or better? Again, equally as good or better than Jokic?
I answered that question already, Damo. I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's better than Jokic.
Okay,
I think Prime Vlade. I think Prime Vlade can play with Jokic. Yes, I do. And that's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying there's plenty of people that can play with him. Stop. I'm not saying he can't play with him. Cool. He was good. He was great. Fine. Dino was Prime Dino. Was he as good or better? What? Again, stop. I'm not asking could he play. I'm asking was he as good or better than Jokic? Yes or no?
Probably not. But
okay,
that's my opinion. Because this is what we're doing, Damo. My word ain't law, Damo. No. Because I'm not going to say what
the way you want to come up with defend.
Because my word ain't law.
If you disagree, but you can see what they're saying.
I can have an opinion. I can have opinion and understand that my opinion is just an opinion. Tony Kukoc feel the way he feel, and he has every right to feel that way. Why? Because he played with these dudes, and he was around these dudes. He knows better than we know about these guys' skill sets. Like when people talk about Boris Diaw, a lot of people are mind blown because they don't know nothing about Boris Diaw. Boris Diaw was as good as they say he is. All these dudes are maybe better than what we know. Damo, how do we know how good these dudes were? And we ain't never, you know what I'm saying? Tony Kukoc giving first-hand account.
Wait.
I think,
Who are you talking? Who are you talking to that don't know how good
I'm not trying to hear this, man. No.
Who are you talking to that doesn't agree that Boris Diaw was good?
Boris Diaw was Jokic comp.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people.
What I'm saying, but again, Ox, block these people. They're idiots. Anyone that doesn't know Boris Diaw can hoop shouldn't talk basketball. That's how I'm feeling. I don't give a damn about understanding what they feel. That's an idiot talking to you, Ox. That's not a real person. What are we talking about?
It is.
Well, with that being said, I feel like it's disrespectful. I feel like it's disrespectful to people for people to come out and just say, no, that's crazy, because they saw Vladdy play for the Kings in 2002 and 2003. They don't know how good Vladdy was in the late 80s. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how good, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
It's perfectly fine to see somebody who has their opinion and honestly be like, oh, that's wild. You can understand why he said it. It's still crazy to say. When Wilt went on TV in the 90s and said, nah, man, you guys in the 60s, those are the real athletes. Those are the real hoopers. These guys now, they don't love the game. That's crazy. And Will lived it. He played with guys.
It is crazy. I agree.
That's crazy. And that's okay to say that shit's crazy. With that take, he is not sitting there saying, oh, these guys are also good players. These guys are also great players. These guys are also great. He specifically said they're better than Jokic. That is what's crazy. And there should be no pushback. If you don't agree, there should be nothing coming out your mouth other than, oh yeah, that is crazy. If you
I don't think it's crazy.
Come on, Ox, man.
I'm not gonna come on. I don't think it's crazy because these dudes were dope. Dino
Raja was not like this. I remember Dino Raja with the Boston Celtics. He was not as good as Joker. No, he wasn't. He was not that good. No, he wasn't.
I'm talking about Vladdy.
And we're talking about what Tony Kukoc said. He talked about as good as Dino was. He was not as good as Joker when he was with the Boston Celtics, who weren't very good, by the way. And they ran the offense through him. No, it's not. I was there. I saw them do.
Kukoc was there too. Tony Kukoc was there too.
What does that mean?
How come I have to take y'all word for it, but I can't take Kukoc's word for it?
You were not even taking your word for it because you don't agree. You don't believe what he said.
I don't agree. Dino is better than Jokic. I do not. But I'm talking about Vladdy and I believe
Vladdy Divac too. He was not as good as Joker. No, he wasn't.
I believe. Okay, I'm getting that shit.
Bonus. Okay, bonus.
I believe Arvidas Sabonis was better than Jokic. Yes, I believe.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we adding stuff that wasn't said? Why are we changing what that man said?
I believe that there was a time where Vladdy Divac is comparable to Jokic, to where if somebody in that time says he's better than Jokic, I'm not making a big deal about it.
No, he was not.
Okay, that's how you feel. He feels like he doesn't. I feel like he's better than you feel like you was then.
So indirectly, Vladdy Divac would have a case to be the best player in the world.
Never. That was never a conversation ever. That was never going on.
That's nasty, Mark. She doesn't have to have a case to be the best player.
Yes,
chill, just right quick. No, you don't have to have a case to be the best player in the world. It's a completely different year. Just because Jokic is the best player in the world right now doesn't mean that at the time where Vladdy played, he has to be considered the best player in the world.
No, I'm saying if Vladdy was in the league now, he would have a case to be the best player in the world. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
the point, Ron, is
to the people up here.
And the point, Ron, is.
Yeah, he better than Giannis. He better.
When he was with when Vladdy Divac was with the Lakers, when Vladdy Divac was in Charlotte, when Vladdy Divac was in when he was making an All-Star team also in Sacramento. At no point did we ever talk about him not only not being the best player in the game, he was never in the conversation to be the best big man in the game. And for Tony Kukoc to say that Vladdy Divac and Dino Raja, who also played for that terrible Boston team, who they were building it around him, was ever. We said that they were on his. They were never on. Joker was never on their level. That's nuts to say that.
That's why people call it hate. I think you can show love to the old European players. Like I don't know where the European players became soft came from because like I don't remember anyone. I don't think anyone was calling Drazen Petrovic or Detlef Schrempf.
Petrovic was not soft.
They weren't calling them some rest in peace to Drazen Petrovic, by the way. They weren't calling them. Then Darko Milicic came in, and then all of a sudden every European who comes in is soft now. So El Darko, I think you're the one who got the European narrative put on everyone. But I think we can show love to the Euros who paved the way, whether that's
Right.
Vidas and whether that's Detlef Schrempf or whether that's Tony
Yes, we can.
Kukoc, whether that's Dino Raja or whether that's Vladdy Divac, whoever. We can show love to them without then saying something that is completely outlandish. I can show love to Dana Barros as a shooter without saying, you know, he shoot better than Steph Curry, low key.
See?
Like there's levels to
No.
it. Dana Barros, hell of a shooter. Show love to the shooters who came before it. Del Ellis,
Yes, Curry, no.
Craig Hodges, Steve Kerr,
Curry.
Dana Barros, like
Curry.
I said, show love to them. Reggie Miller. But you don't have to then say, oh, well, they're better than the best shooter ever. Like saying to Dino Raja and Vladdy Divac, he said Jokic is not on their level. Saying
It's not
that
true. That
is
is
saying
not true.
if they were in the game today, they would be, if not the best player in the world, arguably the best player in the world. That is why people are calling it hate. Not because you're showing love to the past European players. Not because of that. It's because you are saying, whether you're saying it verbatim or you're implying it, that these guys from 30 years ago who were good players, role players, borderline all-stars, however you want to define them, those players would be the best player in the world today. That's what you're saying. That's why people are calling it hate. I disagree with it vehemently. I understand why people are calling it hate. And I think to deny that sounds like hate, I think is weird to me because
and Dino Raja had a unique skill set, especially for that time. Vladdy Divac had a unique skill set for that time, a passing big man who can knock down a 15-footer and a 17-footer. Absolutely, he did that. He was not Joker skilled, though. He was not that good. I remember him playing with other guards. I remember Dino Raja playing with the players that he played with the Boston Celtics. I remember him playing with those guys, and I don't ever remember him being that skilled. Especially in a game where the offense ran through the big man.
Chill. I didn't watch Dino as much as you did, but I think Dino's translation to today's game just
would be good.
How
100%,
he's 6'11". He was very swift and agile.
Yes, sir.
Was getting up the court like a Thundercat, dunking, all type of stuff. Had a very good post game, had a mid post game, all of that. I think Dino will look very, very, very good.
I think he'd be really good in today's game. We would not have the conversation that Dino Raja is the best player on the planet, though. That would not be a conversation.
He's better than Cat today. Damo, he's 100% better than Cat.
I actually have to go.
I'm not arguing that. I just hate when people do that.
Do what?
But I mean, even if he is better than Cat, the statement that was made is that Jokic isn't on his level. So if we're now moving it down to Karl Anthony Towns,
no, we're not doing that. No, we're sticking right here with Joker. That's what we're doing.
I mean, it's like it's
right here with Joker.
What he said was he's not on Jokic level. Whether or not he's better than Cat doesn't mean anything.
No,
why does that not mean anything?
Because Cat isn't in the same conversation with Joker today.
Okay, and Dino doesn't need to be in that conversation. We've kind of all established that. So now I'm saying where I think Dino would be today, and I think he would be better than Cat.
Okay, so we all agree Tony Kukoc is just dead wrong.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right?
Yes,
We all agree.
Yes.
Tune into From the Logo tonight, man. Y'all be easy. Salute to y'all, bro. Peace.
Later, Dumpsy.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Ron, Morris, I don't agree.
And that okay. Never mind.
All right, y'all. We got a lot of super chats, so let's go ahead and dive in. If you haven't liked the video yet, we 2.5 hours in here. Go ahead and slap that like button. Shout out all of our new members and shout out all of our subscribers from today's episode. Vegeta's hairline became a new member today. My man Ayomide Adalik. I hope I said your name right. Appreciate you for coming through. He became a member today as well. Shout out all of our new members. We will be on playback today. It will be Jalen and it will be JD. And they'll be watching the Mavericks and the Warriors. This game has a lot of implications for both teams. They're both fighting for not just to stay in the playoffs, but for better seeding. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely tap in. That is going to be at 9:45 Eastern time, 6:45 Pacific. Tap in. It's going to be a good one. RJ the God said, who makes you go, God damn, more? A dominant, big, overpowering? A big with phenomenal footwork? Or a guard crossing someone so slick, even you are icing your ankles?
Big with phenomenal footwork. Easy. They say, God damn. Yeah, when I see a good post move, when I see some good post work, takes me back to the good old days, man.
For me, it's when a guard gets in the post or like a wing. When I see them do something crazy, like like some crazy step through, pivot, get some of an up fake like that. That's crazy to me. If I had to pick between those, yeah, let me see someone cross someone. In my opinion.
A couple of nights ago, Mars, when you saw Anthony Edwards on the block with that footwork in the middle of in the mid post, it was like 2 or 3 pivots and an up and under where he completely lost the guy.
Mm-hmm. That was tough. I mean, the first thing I thought was 3-second violation, but the second thing I thought was, yeah, that's tough. Like that, like for me, is that like I like seeing like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" with like post work or just like elite footwork. Kobe, Kyrie, Anthony Edwards is getting there somewhat. Like that. That's what's like the most impressive to me.
SMN RNDM said, fair. Maybe CP3 is washed, but they have 3 players that do the same thing. If they add a passer, their stock skyrockets. Even someone like Dante Exum, #bias, would upgrade their offense.
The Warriors?
No, you're talking about Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix?
Dante Exum?
I don't think Dante Exum the passer you think he is.
Right.
Dante would be all right over there though.
And
I'm not saying as a point guard, but I would like Dante Exum over there.
And I like to think y'all could do better than that. You definitely do better than. I think you could do better than Dante Exum.
They can get Fred VanVleet. We'll do Fred VanVleet for Devin Booker.
Smoke Rich Biggs said, saying we shouldn't try. The only thing we've ever seen stop him is pure ignorance. Nobody said he was the same player. That was a lazy response, Damo.
It wasn't a lazy response. That's just a lazy way of thinking. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen teams try it again. Maybe you can say that they didn't have the right pieces to try it. Yeah, get 2. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. 4 or 5. If you get 2 defensive 5s, I mean, yeah, it sounds great on paper. Teams are not constructed to do that now, and for some reason, they're not constructing their teams to do that. I don't know in a copycat league why no one copied that formula again. I wonder why. It just seems a very lazy reason to try. Oh, it worked for the Lakers. Let's do it again. No one's tried it yet. No one has tried it since, for real. We've seen him in a series where he played against 2 bigs, and the first thing people want to say, that was the worst series. He still killed. What are we talking about? Okay, he killed them a little bit worse than he killed everybody else. Maybe Cat's not the big you need to be the second big. Maybe you want to get you a different second big. You want to do AD and Gobert at that point? Would that prove your point? AD and Gobert on the court? Jesus. Who ain't that stopping?
Exclusive Excellence has been a member for 8 months and sent through a super chat saying, so let me get this straight. If Sabonis was as good as Jokic, but more athletic, are y'all saying Prime Sabonis was easily the best player in the world?
That was the conversation at the '88 Olympics. Yeah.
So Prime Arvydas Sabonis is better than Michael Jordan in '88.
That was the conversation in 1988. Yes, that was the conversation.
But do you think he was? Was Arvydas Sabonis better than Michael Jordan?
I was a Michael Jordan stan at 15 years old, but I was a Michael Jordan stan at 15 years old. But to be honest with you, seeing what I was seeing from Sabonis, I don't know if I don't hate that. Sabonis might have been the best player on the planet, y'all.
See, Mars, the thing right there, and I'm not saying you just did this, but similar to the reaction you just had in that question is why we can't ever have these real type of conversations for the most part, because a lot of people will hear that Michael Jordan and it just blocks out. They don't have to watch any film. They don't have to see Arvydas Sabonis at all. They just heard somebody say that there was a conversation about him and Michael Jordan, and that's all they needed to hear. Fuck no, it's not true. Get it out of here. I don't want to. I can't. They can't deal with it emotionally, mentally, anyway. They just can't handle that type of talk. So that's the problem we have with these older, specifically the older Euros who we didn't see too much of until they were kind of on the other side of their prime. You know what I mean? That's a big issue. You know what I mean? Like you hear that and just can't handle it.
I'm gonna just refrain from speaking on Arvydas Sabonis because I don't know. But
yeah,
shout out to
Mars in '88, I was screaming Arvydas over MJ. If that helps you,
I was had a menace. Yeah,
all had a menace.
Context Clues said, Damo, what's your thoughts on Iowa versus LSU? Also, can we talk about UConn and Page versus USC and Juju?
Oh yeah, I can tell you my thoughts. Y'all call it March Madness. I call it Milk Madness, buddy. The white girls are hooping this month. This is crazy. I watched Caitlin Clark put a doozy on LSU, and then Paige go blow for a blow with Juju, and Paige won. Listen, man, it was some great hoops. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a minute since I watched that much women's hoops. Yeah. I get the hype. I get the women college hoops. I get the hype. The hype is real. It was definitely fun. I definitely had to pull my hair out a couple times with a couple possessions because it's like, what are we doing? But for the most part, excellent hoops. Caitlin Clark is her. I ain't gonna lie. If I had to pick a train to ride, I am on the Caitlin train. Sis can hoop.
She's so dope. Yo, she chill. Dope. She do whatever she want to do. Whenever she and she low-key had a bad shooting game last night too. Sure, her 3-ball was falling. She went 9 for 20 from 3, but she wasn't really finishing too much around the hoop and whatnot. If she would have been finishing, she damn near could have went for 50 last night.
She honestly could have had 40 and 20 if they ain't missed so many damn layups and get blocked when she gave them good outlet passes, good breakaway passes, and just keeping her head up. She could have had 20 assists. It looked like anyway.
Yeah, she don't play when it comes to she'll get that outlet and she kicking that ball up immediately. Like she one of the best at that in the nation on both sides, men and women. She getting the ball. She get the ball. You would think because she's Caitlin Clark, she keeping the ball. Nah, she getting it out of her hands quick. And they be running the floor too. Black Rain X said, Dama, what you think about well, hold on. Did you want to you wanted to comment on the other game?
Oh, Juju and Paige.
Yeah.
It was just a good game. Great game all around that I've seen. I didn't watch too much of it because I was doing the pod, so I was like jumping in and out. But for everything I've seen, great ball from both the ladies. Paige is a girl that I was real high on when she was coming out of high school. Haven't really followed her too much through college because of the injuries and things like that. So finally being able to see her play again, like a full game, still a dog, still got it. Juju, my first time watching a full Juju game. God damn.
She nice as hell, ain't she? She nice as hell, ain't she, Damo?
I'm looking. I'm like, it's 3 more years of this?
Yeah. She nice as hell.
Holy, this is crazy.
Nice as hell. Oh my goodness. What'd you think of Coach Moki's coaching job yesterday, Damo?
Coach Moki, is that is the LSU?
LSU.
Oh, you talking about Leslie Nope? Yeah, hell no. Fire her. I was getting Darvin Ham. Oh my God.
See, that's what I see.
Oh my God. I was looking, I'm like, are y'all sure her hands ain't in her pockets? Someone check Leslie Nope's activity. This is crazy. I'm like, yo, one, stop throwing Angel the ball. She is not getting it done. Nothing is happening. Like, hey, let's go give Flage the ball. Give 20. I don't know who 24 name is, miss. I'm excuse me for just calling
you.
Is
that Mora?
That's Moro. That's Moro. Yeah.
Give them the ball. They were hooping. But for whatever reason, you got Haley Joe Van Ling, whatever her name is, stinking up the court, can't get an entry pass down to Angel. And then when they finally do after 3 possessions, she just if y'all got a nickel bag, I don't know what that was in the post. That was a grand bag. I don't even know if they got those. She was just, I'ma just get through y'all women and throw it up. Like, damn, what? And y'all not gonna change nothing? No defensive switch. Flage didn't get on into Caitlin until like late in the fourth. I'm like, y'all should have been her. I know it was foul trouble, but damn, that coach is bad. I mean, bad. She addressed
the thing is, Damo, she's actually a good coach. Like Kim Mulkey is one of them basketball legends. You know what I'm saying? She was there. She played at Louisiana Tech back in the day. You know, Louisiana Tech is one of the women's storied programs. You know what I mean? She was the point guard there. You know what I mean? She had a great coaching career at Baylor. She over here. She's a good coach. So that's why I'm like, yo, we need an investigation right now. What happened? Like who's paying you, Kim? Who do you owe somebody some money? You in some type of trouble? Kim, what happened? What happened? Because you didn't even try last night. She didn't even try.
I was over there like, yo, she don't stand it was like watching my game. Like, yo, she is hunched over every time. Yo, get the fuck up and coach. It felt like get your hands out your pockets. I'm like, it was a screenshot of her hunched over, bent, and Darvin Ham with his hands in his pockets. I'm like, yo, that's the same thing. This is the same person.
Yo, Damo, so are you saying Darvin Ham was proud watching that game?
Darvin Ham was out there looking like, yo, this is a masterclass. This is how you coach. Rely on your players.
Get Moki off the floor.
Oh my God, that shit was crazy.
Get Moki.
All right, y'all. I got another super chat from Black Rain X. He said, Damo, what you think about Bron, Wemby, and Steph or Trae at the 1? Bron being the third best player, averaging 15 to 23, extending his career under Pop. Yeah, Damo. This is the conversation we had earlier.
Dub brought this up, Damo.
Well,
Dub
it's actually a
started-
super chat, and then Dub just went.
Oh, it
running.
was?
Wemby
Oh, okay.
at
See, I
the
didn't see
one?
that. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Wemby at the 1? Is that what?
No,
Trey or Steph. Trey or
Oh,
Steph
so
next
that
to LeBron
lineup.
and Wemby. Yes.
Okay, so basically Trey or Steph next to Bron Wemby. So I'm guessing the Spurs are drafting Bronny. That's how they're getting Bron there. And then you're going to trade every other asset you have after getting Bronny to get Steph or Trey. They're, if you ask me, they're breaking basketball. I don't know what we think gonna happen, but is Devin Vassell still there? Because if they still got Devin Vassell, I got them winning the chip.
No
like
way. They can't hold on to Vassell and make that trade.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But
Yeah, Keldon Johnson.
it's possible. I'm about to say Keldon Johnson and every
Keldon
other guy.
Maybe
They're getting somebody else because one of those three players, whether it's Keldon,
No, you gotta keep Devin Vassell.
Can you please leave Sohan out of this? Here ain't no
And
value.
they're
I'm saying they're
higher
gonna trade him for somebody though.
They're higher pick in the draft this year. So whatever pick they got that's going to be due to them losing hella games, you take that pick, the later round pick you're going to have, or the second round pick for Bronny. Well, you're going to use that for Bronny, but I would assume the high ass pick you got, that's the top 5 pick. You go Keldon, you go Jeremy Sochan, 17 other picks. I know it's a cap on picks. I'm just saying how hyperbolic you got to be. 17 other picks. You just got to oversell to keep Devin Vassell. I don't think there's a world where you're trading Devin Vassell, Sochan, and Keldon Johnson to get Trey Young. Maybe Curry. Maybe that'd be the extra price for Curry, and unless they don't want the picks, maybe you get that off like on some AD shit. But I think you keep one of those guys. But that's gonna be.
I just seen what somebody said in the chat, and I 100% agree. The moment that Pop hears they're drafting Bronny, he's like, "All right, cool. I can go. I can get up out of here. Y'all got this. Y'all got this."
Yeah, get your old ass out of here. We're gonna get Bron. We're getting Trey Young or Steph, and at that point, the rest of players' choice can be the rest of the roster. We're winning a chip. Y'all ready to get your ring size? Y'all ready? Because we're winning. We're winning.
Damo, like I told Dub, and now like I'm telling this super chat because I didn't know the super chat. My bad, Dub. I was blaming you like you were responsible for this. So like I told Dub, and like I'm telling the super chat, and like I'm telling you now, Damo, can we please keep LeBron James out of Victor Wembanyama's story, out of his legacy? Can we let this man do his own thing? We don't want to see this. We don't want no part of this, man. LeBron, you do your own thing. Leave Victor Wembanyama alone.
Nah, you don't see what's happening. He knows if Wemby wins a ring, if Wemby wins a ring, that's gonna help his GOAT debate. But if he's there next to him,
a little French shooby dooby. I'm a little.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I can tell because you throwing that we, you throwing we around. I don't know who we is. I'm not a part of we. That's crazy.
Exclude yourself, Damo. That's fine. I'm not gonna force you to get involved with something you don't want to be involved in. I'm not saying that I want to see LeBron play with Wemby. But if there are options on the board of where he could go next, San Antonio is not one of the bad options, in my opinion. No,
it's not a bad option.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible. Let this young man do his own thing.
Why? All I've seen these last 4 years playing with AD is a guy that was trying to pass the torch ever since they won a chip. He's done nothing but try to pass the torch, and AD just ain't that guy. I know who wins that guy. I know a guy who's begging to get the ball. Like I'm talking night in, night out. He is on the court every other play, begging for the rock. That's Wemby.
But Damo, if he goes there and plays with Wemby and it doesn't work out, that's gonna be a stain, a black eye on Wemby. They're not gonna put blame on LeBron. It's gonna be all on Victor Wembanyama. He's not who he say he is. You can't win with LeBron. Oh, bro, I don't got time for that.
Let them say that while Wemby is 2021. Well, honestly, just for I don't know if Bron's gonna stay for. If Bron stays 2 more years, that's 2 of Wemby's first 3 years where he wasn't competing with a championship for LeBron James, and he still has the rest of his career. And I'm one of the people who is assuming he's gonna have a pretty fruitful 10+ year career. Once we're at the middle to the later side of that, no one is going to remember that in year 2 and 3, LeBron was ring chasing going to Wemby. See, that's a bigger indictment and a bigger stain on Bron than it is Wemby. What the hell does Wemby got to say about this? He is in his 2nd year. Like, what is he going to say? No? No, I'm not going. He should go tell him, keep Bron out of here. Bron's such an attention whore.
All I gotta say is I cannot wait for the San Antonio Spurs to select Bronny James so we can see this Bron and Wemby duo. Can't wait for this. This is about to be a dub link up.
No, don't put this energy out there. Like, don't speak this into existence because this isn't even something that's on the board of happening. So if this happens now after y'all put this energy out here, I'm blaming y'all. I'm holding y'all responsible for this.
I mean, okay, I get it. Okay, so check this out. The Sacramento Kings can also.
Ron, he's not. LeBron would never come play for Sac, bro. Come on,
LeBron's going to play wherever his son's at.
No more him.
I'm one, and see, this is just like y'all. Always put the attention on Bron, and let's remove the attention from the other guy in this scenario. Which I'm not saying Trae Young, I'm saying Stephen Curry. It's just like you secret Curry defenders.
I'm all right with that.
I bet you are all right with that. I bet you are. Just let Curry get away with doing the same shit Bron can do. Just let him get away with it. Like, why not? Hey, Curry's not a bad guy for doing
Steph never did it yet. This will be Bron's fourth time, or maybe third time. Steph never did this. Bron, this is so Bron's MO. This is so his MO. Like, I would hate Bron for this. And I've come to like Bron over these past 3 seasons. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to mess with Bron.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if he do this, man, this is just despicable. That's despicable behavior.
Let's not even talk about all the things that Stephen Curry has had done this
light skin privileges.
That's really what it is. Light skin privilege. The ability to just get whatever player you want and spit them out when you're done. It's crazy. Just get all these guys. We're not talking. I bet you no one came up with how many trades the Warriors done made. That GM Steph. You can't call him a GM. I don't know what you call him.
Has there been a lot of trades?
I mean, I don't know, man. How many All-Stars have came in and out of that Warrior system that they just went and grab and try to implement, don't work, and just ship them out? D'Lo coming off an All-Star year, got him, don't work, throw him away. Let me go get Andrew Wiggins, build him up, tear him down. Don't worry, they about to throw him away.
Can you imagine if that happened with James?
Yeah, that's really it. I said that like it was way more people. That's really it.
But even still, though, but even still that you did say that, though. But even if you just said that, like, think about if that happened to James. Oh, wait a minute, it did. And how'd that go? Playing with an all-star, right? So, wow, crazy.
The next super chat from Context Clues. Context said, also, if you saw Angel and Flage's post-game interview, people keep saying she's playing the victim. I don't think she is because I see the comments she gets.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that she's playing the victim, but I will say, man, I ain't trying to hear about all that shit right now. You was the big bad wolf on the block leading up to this game.
She was popping heavy shit. Yes, she was.
You can't pop shit, and then when y'all lose, it's so much pressure and people threatening me. I ain't trying to hear that shit right now, sis. Tomorrow, you can say that today. You can say that on Instagram today. Hey, I'd have been backing it 100%. Don't get on that interview, talk about all that shit now. Nah, give credit to them ladies. Get your tears out. Say, she does have enough. She is eligible for another year. And then worry about if you actually coming back or not. Like, if this was your last game, hey, get everything off you got to get off. You still can come back. I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that.
My thing is, nobody said, hey, Angel. Well, maybe somebody did. I don't know. But look, you posting videos and pictures with your buns out and then talking I'm being sexualized. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. You know what I mean? And then like you doing interviews telling people don't get mad, get a bag, and then they talk back to you. Like, you got to deal with that. You can't. That's what I'm trying to say. I've been trying to say this.
You can't.
Well, okay, but if you can say that, you can't be the villain and the victim at the same time.
Can't swing on me.
You got to choose. Make a choice. You want to be the
I
villain?
don't think she was trying to be the villain or the victim.
Yes,
I think
she was, Ron.
Being a philosopher, chill.
When they won it last,
she's Confucius now.
When they won it last year, it was big time energy from her.
Yep.
I'm that chick for real. When they won it last year, it was big time energy. When they was going into the tournament, everybody wants to be LSU. Not everybody can be LSU. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to be us. It was just big time energy. Now the fact that they got served the way that they got served from the team that they beat last year, now I was being sexualized when in reality you was the one in the 2-piece on Instagram. Now I'm getting death threats when you was the one talking about you was the one talking about being from Baltimore and how about that life you are.
Okay.
That was you talking about that. That was you. That was you doing that.
So chill. What she should have.
That's not the point. What she should have did was what she did. But this is what comes with it. That's the
No,
point.
I'm saying like so she should have got up there after this post game interview, yes, or after they lost.
Iowa had a better team than us. That's a fantastic squad. There was really nothing that we did that we could have done with Caitlin. Hats off to them. That's a great team. Instead of what she did, the crying part. No.
And people will say, oh, but they asked her, how do you deal with adversity? You should have stood, as I would say, should have stood on your nuts. What adversity? Ain't no adversity up here. This is basketball. You should have been a bit bad whoop still. That shit.
So she should have stood on it. She should have said, I'm not mad, I got a bag.
Yes.
Facts, Ron. Yes.
How do you deal with that adversity from the last year? Last time I checked, we beat them for the Natty last year. So it wasn't too much adversity. This is a downside. We lost. I play It is what it is. That's tough. You can get your tears out because you lost because you're passionate. I feel you. But to go up there and play victim, hell nah. You were the bully. Imagine Debo going off after Friday. I just wanted them to like me. No, nigga, you're Debo. I'm not trying to hear that. You're Debo. What? I didn't know Chris was gonna hit me with a brick. Nigga, you're Debo. What?
Yo, that's
Debo?
heat. Nah, that is heat.
It's a fact. You can't swing on somebody and then get mad when they swing on you. What the hell?
Facts. Wow.
Damn. All right.
I thought she
Super
all
chat
that
from
money,
Sam.
all that money. She better wipe them tears with all that money she talking about. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Keep getting to that money though, Angel. Keep getting to that money for sure. But you can't be a victim and a villain. Make a choice, please. But keep getting that money though for sure.
Sam with the super chat said CC reminds me more of Dame than Steph. Caitlin Clark.
Oh my God. I don't know about Bay Area Kimba vibes. That's crazy.
Oh, she's way. I mean, she's a better playmaker than both of them.
I can see it.
Oh no,
She's
it's
more
hard.
like-
It's
I
hard
mean-
to give her an NBA comparison because she shoots the lights out, but she's a top tier playmaker.
Would it not be Trae Young at that point?
Low key, but she's just bigger than Trae in terms of like when you
a
compare.
sniper that's an elite playmaker.
She
Trae
would be
Young.
like a 6'4", 6'5" Trae. If Trae was that tall, you could kind of say Luka, but she shoots a lot more. than Luka.
See, always goes to a white person.
Caitlin ain't that big though. What's she about?
I
5'8"?
mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
relative to like women's hoops, so like a 5'11", 6 foot guard is like
6'7".
6'4". So
Well, I was just thinking.
like Juju Watkins is like a 6'9" forward, bro. Like she's
I'm not saying.
6'2".
I was just thinking play style versus exact comps. I was thinking just more play style esque.
I'm not moved by outlet passes as playmaking, so I'm fine with Dame.
You're not moved by outlet passes?
No, I'm not gonna say she's an elite playmaker, and that's why there's not a Dame comparison because she throws head passes. Like the Dame
But it wasn't just the outlet passes though. She was.
Yeah, those aren't the only passes she makes. More she gets double team.
I have a 1/2 sample size, 75% outlet passes.
Right.
I feel it.
Joseph S said Haley looked like Holiday getting fried by Butler.
And I was saying the same things. Why is she by herself? Give her some help. Help her.
No, that Drew Holiday cooking was worse.
I don't know, Chill. I don't know if you seen during the game. After
No,
she hit the behind the back, step to the side, hit the three. I don't know if you seen what she said. She said, "Get this white girl off me." Obviously, she didn't say that, but that's what I thought she said. Because
No, she for sure said that.
The one she hit when she came off. The one she hit when she came when I got to make sure I get her name right. Van Lit, is that it?
Yeah,
Van Lit.
And when Van Lit went under the screen, she was on the right. She was on the right wing, and she went under the screen, and she basically was this far away from the screen, and she cracked it. And Van Lit was like,
"What do you want me to do?"
Like,
you see how the WNBA is like, what is it, 27 years old, something like that? So like, so we're still in like the early years, and like NBA players like the 70s and 60s are the plumbers and firemen. Haley Van Lith is going to be the plumbers and firemen 20 years from now. That's what she's going to be.
For real.
20 years from now, when we look back on like Caitlin Clark in college, we're going to be saying she was doing it against plumbers and firewomen because Haley Van Lith is trash.
Hey, I am going to say this.
Oh, Haley's definitely not trash.
I don't care. I ain't never seen a worse
bad on LSU.
I've watched Johnny Davis and I've watched Killian Hayes play basketball. She's the worst player I've ever seen. I've never seen a worse player than her. That's terrible.
Haley's going to be back next year, and she's going to be back with a statement. Haley going to ball out next year. First team All SEC. I don't know about nationwide. She's gonna be first team All SEC, and she's gonna have a bounce back year, especially if Caitlin leaves or if Angel leaves. If Angel leaves, and now it's her and Flage's team, they gonna get busy.
Ain't no reason for Angel to stay. None.
She's not good. That's the reason to stay.
Leaf Diggy with the super chat said, "I need an Ant versus Zion. No more light skins. Shit, sick of it."
Why don't you just say Ant versus SGA? Why is it Ant versus Zion? That's crazy.
He was talking about that last night on the graveyard shit, talking about I don't need 2 dark-skinned dogs. It got crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Dark-skinned dogs is wild.
Yeah, that's hoops and shoops.
Himmy said, "Simply do what Milwaukee did to stop Jokic." Why do you think
you don't know ball? You don't know ball. Yeah, do what Dallas did to stop Jokic too. Clearly, I mean, hey, when Detroit held him to 2 shots, that's what you gotta do, man. Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Mars will leave out there. He got thrown out of that game too. Don't leave that part out.
Yeah. Besides the point.
We got one more member that snuck in the door just before we ended. Stay Hydrated 88 became a member. So shout out to Stay Hydrated. Shout out to everybody that watched the video from the beginning all the way to the end. We will be back tomorrow with another fire-ass episode. Y'all stay tuned in. Tap into Open Gym next. I mean now, not next. It's now.
When
When right now.
Damn. I didn't know it was right now. I thought it was like in 20 minutes. No, so like right after us.
Yeah,
right after
it might be in 20 minutes. I can start the show whenever I want.
I wasn't sure. I thought it was like, because Mars, he on that different kind of time, and with Mars it get a little tricky with Mars. So I don't know what that is. So all right, I guess it's right now. All right, no doubt.
All right, y'all. We out of here. Hey, on the way out, don't get mad. Get a bag.
Get a bag. Later.
Merry Christmas.